out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnop.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vine, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint.
It's
From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold.
the Finally Friday edition.
Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold.
Coming up, we got Coach Elmassian is going to join 6:30. He was hanging out with Shane Beamer this week.
Let the games begin. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone.
Rocket Raheem Ishmael. Stacy Compton scheduled at 7. Talk about everything happening this weekend. Pulaski County Motor Speedway. Mike Ashley, open mic. Mike Burnop. Wow. And Jen. Hit us up wherever you might be. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Prometheus. Good morning, T-Bird. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, we'll get into some tournament stuff. Some of the upsets came through, some did not. From Palm Coast, where Morris suffered a bad case of writer's block. Forgive me, good friends, as I took a break and bought some VCU and High Point stock. Good stuff. Now, you see, that rhymed. Poison could use some of that. So I've had like multiple requests on the professional door text line to never interrupt the opening song. What I mean is, don't stop it early. I'm glad people like the opening song. How's everybody doing? Man, oh man. Subscribe, like, and share the channel. We got a lot going on today. 5 guests on a Friday. Yes, have some. Yes, the madness has begun. Already has a different vibe to it after one day than it did last year. High Point Panthers It's all about matchups. And, boy, what a comeback they made. Chase Johnston, I know him very well from calling his games the last couple of years in the Big South, but he's a guy that all he does is shoot threes, and who would have thought his 2-point layup would be the difference? And the Panthers move on. Flynn Clayman made a lot of news with some of his bold statements after the game, attacking the major programs. We'll get into that. Poison would be so lucky to have my wordsmith genius. Yes, they would have. What's up, Vic? Good morning. I think their chances are pretty high, Arizona, to go all the way. Duke was on the ropes a lot of that game. And, man, give Siena all the credit in the world out of the MAAC. That's Coach Lynn's league. That was fun, man. That was fun. VCU's rally. What an incredible comeback in the final 4 minutes. What a collapse by Carolina. Carolina fan, I think, can go ahead and stop delusioning themselves. The Hubert Davis, kind of a weird, he needs to go. He's not going to get Carolina back to elite level. He'll have good regular seasons. They'll have talent because of their pay-for-play money. But he's not the guy. And I think it's pretty clear. Carolina fans in denial because he's a legacy. And Roy Williams appointed him. But I think it's time to realize what Hubert Davis is, and he is not. Texas, as I told you, knocks off BYU. They come out of the first four. Where's our Louisville guy? Congratulations. They hung on. I tell you what, if the Louisville game would have had about 2.5 more minutes, I think they would have lost. What a furious comeback by South Florida. They lost by 4. So I did not pick the High Point game. I didn't think they matched up as well this year against a Big Ten team as they did last year. They didn't get it done last year. But to their credit, they found a way, and it was fun. It was fun watching the league. I reached out to Flynn. Hadn't heard back. He's been busy. Got to know him real well this year. Great win for the Big South. Just goes to show you the gap's not what a lot of people think it is or what it's perceived to be, which is what he was trying to get to at the end of the game. He shouldn't have done it right after the game on the court. Thought that was a bad look. That's a locker room speech. That's what you do in the post-game presser after you've kind of calmed yourself down a little bit. But he needed to – I know he's trying to get another job. It's just facts. But what he said may or may not have been true. I thought that wasn't the right point right there at the end of the court, on the court at the game. I'd have talked more about the players and the guys. But, hey, it was just a little thing. Just a little thing. What else did we have? VCU, Texas. Of course, High Point's the story right now going into day 2. Carolina's collapse is what it is. Tebow says, I thought I was watching Tech when Vassar doinked it off the backboard, not hitting the rim. Yeah. Don't you go over those things? And as soon as he shot it, they were all like, no, you can't do that. And kudos to VCU, man. Phil Martelli Jr. That was it was both an impressive comeback and an epic collapse. You can have two things can be true at the same time. Yeah, how about those Longhorns? That was the one that I did get right. I went 13-3. That's not bad. And I don't have anybody who lost advancing beyond the second round. I lost High Point. I lost South Florida. And I lost St. Mary's. But I'll tell you this. You ready? I'm gonna do this. The Rick lock of day 1 happened late last night. Not only did it happen, and you'll remember, and I miss a lot, so I'm going to make sure I pound my chest. See, that's what I just did. St. Louis to beat Georgia in the Midwest region. Number 9, St. Louis. How about 102-77? When I give you a lock, it's not even close. The best news is, since I brought the show back, that's 5 straight years where my lock of opening day has come through. I take pride in that. Hubert Davis, I'm sorry, Marva, but that boy needs to take his millions, retire. Yeah, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. Not long term. So anyway, St. Louis was my lock. I'll have to look and see what my lock is today. I don't think I've come up with it. I've looked at it. We'll come up with it for the show's over. But I'll let you know. And it's got to be a game that makes it like you're not going to. Here's my lock. The number one is going to beat the 16. No, it's got to be a competitive matchup. So it'll be a game where it could go either way. Yes, we did, Tebow. I just felt like VCU was a bad matchup for Carolina without their superstar. And it didn't look like it was going to be because Carolina had a 16-point lead late. They let it go. What's up, Frankie? Duke survives and the Tar Heels lose. Hopefully Pat makes it back soon. Yeah, Duke did survive, and that's all it was surviving. Nothing but surviving. But they did, and sometimes you need that kind of little wake-up call. Right? Yeah. Yeah, we got weather now. Absolutely. We've got 66 today, 70 tomorrow, 77 on Sunday, 65 on Monday. Rain, but that's okay. I'm not going to say it. Nope. Not even going to allude to the fact that maybe we're finally beyond it. Nope. Made that mistake before. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. No, Vic, they should not, in my opinion, but they're going to. It'll expand next year. $76 will be the minimum that it expands. We'll see if they go higher than that. They're going to add a full day for each of the first 4 days. First 4 will start at noon, like they do the first day yesterday. How much fun was yesterday? We got reminded, though. See, it was everything we cherish about being sports fans. We don't have much left, but that yesterday, it just kept happening, and that was fun. That's what it's all about. The TCU game against the opening game, TCU Ohio State, that was a terrific game. So it got us off to a good start. That came down to the last 30 seconds. And then here comes High Point. That was fun. Obviously, in the Big South, you pull for one another. And I've been trying to tell people our league it's good. And High Point has their private school. They had money to spend on a roster, and you see the kind of talent that they have. And I know yesterday was probably the first time a lot of you guys have seen High Point, but that's why they won 30 games. And Flynn Clayman's done a great job. Kudos to him. I was pretty close with Alan Huss, their former coach, who's now the coach in waiting at Creighton. He'll be the head coach there next year. But yeah, it did for me. It just every time early, something else happened, and it was like, this is the tournament, man. And when Santa was up by like 13, and I never really thought they were going to win, but you're like, man, this is so cool. And I kept thinking about Coach Lynn. That's his league. It shows you how good the MAAC is, right? And he talked about how good they are. And then here comes VCU in the Carolina game. What a great basketball game that was. I mean, that was a great, great game. Not for Carolina fans. I had a lot of people on the text line asking me, I did not reach out to Marva. Look, Marva's a real one. Marva is a real one. And yeah, thanks everybody. I was getting all these texts from people who watch the show about High Point. And look, if you're a real one, like you are with your teams and I am with my teams, I was not going to reach out and give Marva a hard time. No, we'll talk to her next week during her allotted time. See, Marva is awesome. Love Marva. But Marva takes this stuff hard. No, so there was no chance I was reaching. I felt bad for her. I felt bad for Rodney, too. Rodney jumps in sometime. He's a Carolina lifer. I have a lot of friends who are Carolina fans. Heck, David Smith. But no, I would not do that to her. There's fun in games and there's joshing. And then there's knowing that when you should not cross the line. And I wasn't going to do that to her. No. We'll give her a hard time next Tuesday. Only the 2 mega conferences, Vic, will college conferences be relevant. The 2 mega conferences will be relevant. Unless, of course, you get 60 teams to break away, which I think is probably what's going to happen. And yes, I do believe Virginia Tech will be part of that. T-Bird says, speaking of fruit, Morris, I planted a cherry tree yesterday. A very nice one, too. You can't beat Crow's Nest Nursery and prices for it. All right, well, let's give them to sponsor the show, T-Bird. We just gave them a free plug. They're top notch. I only do that to Philly fans, Prometheus. By Tuesday, Marva will have healed enough. And then I'm not even really going to give her a hard time. I just want to ask her some questions about the long-term trajectory, because they're going to have 20 million, 30 million to give to basketball every year. Is Hubert Davis the right guy to lead them back to Championship Monday? I do not believe he is. He's horrible with the media. He didn't handle himself at all well. I hate the in-coach interviews, the in-game interviews with the coach. I hate them. I think it's stupid. The player halftime interviews are stupid. Media coverage has gotten too intrusive. The television deals control so much that they throw these things in there. Deals are signed, and then when it comes to reality, when the rubber meets the road, they're like, I really don't want to do this. You don't get anything out of it. Nothing substantial comes out of it. They don't want to answer the questions. Usually the person answering the question doesn't know what to ask. If you're going to do the halftime ones, okay, but don't do them in game. It doesn't add anything, in my opinion. I mean, you're sitting there watching any of these games going, hey, shh, hang on. I want to hear what Flynn Clayman has to say here at this second media timeout. I'm sure it's going to be profound. I'm sure he's even going to be listening to the question. Shh. No. Exactly. I mean, Carolina is not just a blue blood. It's a top 3 blue blood of all time. This is North freaking Carolina basketball. They would have no problem attracting just about any coach they would want. And why? Just because Roy said so? No. And sometimes you don't need more than just the look. Trust your eyes. I know you do, because you're smart. Don't listen to what morons are telling you. Words don't mean anything like that. You watch. You can just tell that's a guy that's, I don't want to say in over his head, because he's had some good teams, but they were the only team in the history of college basketball a couple of years ago to be a preseason number 1 and not make the tournament. That's hard to believe that actually happened. Hubert better fix things or he could end up at Tech in a couple of years. Exactly, Big Al. Good media should be like good rest. Stay in the background. Just do your job. We don't need to hear. I don't want to hear the in-game interviews. They don't add a damn thing. And you're not getting anything worth a crap. I'm going to ask Coach Elmo coming up. By the way, just to remind you, my Lord, what a show. We got Coach Elmo. We got Stacy Compton, Mike Ashley, Mike Burnop, and Jen today. Jen was posting pictures of mouthpieces. I don't know if she finally got one or not. We're going to I trust that you'll join me in chat and on our text line to give her a hard time. Thanks to the NRV Super Bowl, 25 years in business. 382-5525, Lawson's Mobile Home Supply since 1987, 300 North Franklin Street, 381-8011, Home Supplies. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio here in Reiner. Get a free quote today. Take advantage of spring fever, 540-200-8294. McClellan Chiropractic with Mark Hunley. I'm going to call him first of next week and see if I can get on his schedule to get over there and do the taping of the breaking of my back. Professional Door Incorporated, Travis Williams, 540-391-0788, sponsor of our text line. We're going to talk Louise today when Mike comes on. Louise Baker, the Louise Baker team, Long and Foster Realtors. We mentioned we're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. And we'll talk a lot about that with Stacy Compton coming up. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 553-2971. The attorney, Ryan Pry, he brings us each week our fan question of the week, 701 West Main Street down in Radford, trust and estate planning. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of me and the show. We just mentioned Professional Door, the Ready Set Fund with Bob Christ, ReadySetFund.com. If you have more questions directly, email Bob, B-O-B-C-R-I-S-T, @gmail. And last, and certainly not least, even though they are the latest sponsor, Sundown Electric. Excellent reputation, long list of satisfied clients. Talk about their superior craftsmanship, attention to detail, clear communication, and great cost, honest and integrity. Thanks to Jeff Smith, his brother, all the work they do. And give them a call at Sundown Electric and thank them for their support. They're all about the community, as I think we are too. I planted the lemon and lime trees, T-Bird. I am concerned the cold weather may have murdered them. Any closer on the performance from Jen? Well, exactly. I mean, she's been putting this thing off, and she is posting mouthpiece pictures, Prometheus, so I'm guessing we're getting a little closer. No, I will not be attending any tournament games. There's none really close enough for me to do so, and I have other jobs, other duties at Radford. We have springtime sports. Check us out, Vic, on ESPN Plus, Radford University. We were going to have baseball tonight, but our women are hosting the WNIT. So that broadcast, and that's not me. We have women's broadcasters, and I would never take that opportunity away from our women's crew. I don't believe in being that guy. A lot of people were like, you can call the game. Well, I could have, but no, we have Tom Purvis and Crystal Hubbard, who've called the women's games all year. Why would I take that opportunity away from them because it's a tournament? I might oversee that part of the department, but I'm not going to be that guy. I'll be there. I'll be there as a fan tonight. Tech in Oregon today in the NCAA tournament. It's in Fort Worth, Texas. Yep. 1:30 on ESPN2, by the way. 1:30 on ESPN2, Tech in Oregon on the women's side. So there you go. Man, that's a lot. We got a lot going on. This is going to just be wild and woolly. Big Al, the late call near the end of regulation time in the VCU game that showed the refs debating for several minutes was ridiculous. Stop the review. Yeah, you know what? Keon was texting me last night, and we talked about that. The review, the instant replay it's corrected a lot of obvious mistakes, but it really has caused a lot of problems. Everything needs to be streamlined. And I think what we're going to have to eventually go to is have people in charge of replay. And when something obvious happens, you decide when it can be reviewed, whatever. When something obvious happens, then have them buzz into the officials or something. This whole stopping and going back, and there's nothing more frustrating when I'm calling a game than when they go to the video review. They look at it for way too long, because if you haven't seen it by after 2 views, it's not there. And then they inevitably get together and they talk. A lot of times it's because they don't know the rules. So whereas replay, it's still vital because so many obvious things are missed. It's so important. Last night there were a lot of reviews on out of bounds plays. Who'd the ball go off of? I saw 7 or 8 corrected throughout the whole day. Officials can't even get who the ball's going off of right. Yeah, exactly. And then they don't have enough courage to which call was that, by the way? I know. Why am I blanking on that? I mean, I watched the game. But you're right. It's the one they took a long time to review. Was that the one where the ball went off of – it was checking to see if the ball went off of Carolina or VCU? Was that the one you're talking about? Yeah, the out-of-bounds call. Yeah. You're right. They just kept looking at it. It's like, let's go. And what it does, it stops all the momentum of the game. And, you know what it's like. We used to be athletes, a lot of us. But guys and gals have to stand around. The bodies get kind of, it clearly went off of Carolina. Yeah. Wasn't even close. Yeah, there you go. That was it. And I'm sitting there going, okay, that's going to be VCU's ball. And they still get it wrong. Look, I appreciate the technology, but they're going to have to figure out something to streamline this in all the sports. It takes away from the games. We need it as fans. Because I don't want my team, if I'm got a rooting interest, to get screwed over because of, calls that are just missed for whatever reason. But congratulations to VCU, in-state schools. Congratulations to High Point. Man, that was fun. Even though I did not pick them, it didn't matter. Some things supersede your picks, and that was cool. That was cool. And it's great for our league. It's great for the Big South. Yeah, and this whole close-ups of the ref, getting on the microphone like the NBA. And I hate the media questions of the coaches and the stuff at halftime with the players. That's a sacred thing, man. We had Brian White on and Coach Elmo talking about the locker room. Those guys don't want to be talking to anybody. Let them focus on the game. That's what's taken away in a lot of ways from professional sports. Too much of that. Now, I know this is professional sports because they're talking to guys who are making way too much money, but I don't know. And maybe that's just the natural evolution of pay for play, that now they're just going to treat it like pro games. But Mike Burnop will go over first day of Tech spring practice. I'm saving that. I did not watch any of it. It's kind of silly to watch highlights of guys throwing the ball around when there's no defense. But we'll get into that with Mike. But we got a busy day. We've got 5 wonderful folks joining us today, and we're going to start it off with maybe the most wonderful of all. What's going on, man? Hey, how are you doing? You calming down from Travel Guy U?
Oh, boy. I tell you, it was a whirlwind, but I didn't get in until 4 a.m. Monday morning.
Woo. Wow.
All the delayed flights, the weather in Charlotte. I flew out of Charlotte to South Bend because it was a direct flight. And I got in Saturday morning, flew early flight Saturday, and the visitation or / viewing was Sunday, and then the funeral procession was Monday. I did not stay for that.
Sure.
I could have. They were going to accommodate just about every former player and coach. That was a priority for them.
That's awesome.
Because, it's a who's who and thousands of
I know. I love the pictures you sent me. You and Rocket Ishmael just hanging out.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah. Pat Terrell. Yeah.
Pat Terrell. Yeah, that was cool.
And I met most of those guys at a function they had at William & Mary for Coach Holtz 4 years ago. About 30 Notre Dame guys were down there, but it was real special. The biggest thing is I wanted to see Skip Holtz, probably other than paying my respects. I wanted to get to see him, and I figured that during the visitation, the viewing, I would have that opportunity to do that. We had been texting back and forth with each other, and I've known him since he was 6 years old. That's how old he was when Coach was at William & Mary.
Yeah, right.
And in 71. But it was, Rick, it really, his loss of not, it didn't really hit me till I was waiting at the airport on Monday to get out, and it was delayed. The flight was delayed for hours, and that's when it really hit me, the influence he had on my life. And it kind of like Coach Norton, it's kind of like losing 2 fathers. I obviously had a dad, but I can honestly say between Coach Holtz and Coach Norton, there's not a time goes by where I don't think of them every day of my life. every day.
Yeah, that's sure. How's Skip and the family doing? Everybody doing okay?
It was rough. It was rough on him. He if you have a chance, the good news was while I was delayed, I did get to see the funeral because it was on a YouTube. It was a live circuit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I got to see the whole funeral, which was better off there because hell, I may not have gotten in. It was so who's who of athletics and politicians and just, anybody and everybody that knew Lou. But it was something else. It was very special.
Well, I know. I was thinking about you. The pictures were great. I'm glad it became more of kind of a celebration of life at times too, right? That's what's nice.
It was, yeah. When we were going through the line, the procedure, we got in line early. The line was the Sunday. It was open to the public. So, but boy, there were, we got there at 6:00, so we got up front, which was great. We got in, and then, when I got a chance to see Skip, we had a lot of hugs and tried to keep from crying. Couldn't do it.
You're not a crier. Oh, wait a minute. You are.
I'm ridiculous. It's the Armenian in me. It's I'm 100% too. No mixed blood.
No mixed blood. Armenian tears.
We're emotional people. Just put it this way.
No, that's cool though. That's cool.
And then then what really surprised us. I say us, the people that I was hanging around with. They had an open casket, and it was not knowing what was going on. And I'll tell you, the Notre Dame campus is just absolutely stunning.
No, it really is.
You get on that campus, and it was. The Basilica, you felt like you were in Rome at the Vatican, when you walked in this place.
Yeah, it's a special place. It is.
Oh, my goodness. It is special. And so, Saturday, when I get in Saturday, I'll share this with you. I think you'll appreciate this. When I was coaching at Minnesota for Coach Holtz, it was an all-star graduate assistant cast of people. There was a gentleman named Greg McMahon, who was my GA, who ended up being the special teams coach for the New Orleans Saints. Remember in the Super Bowl when they kicked the onside kick?
Yes.
That was my guy, Greg McMahon. He was a special teams coach, and he's the one that orchestrated that.
That's cool.
And so that was one of the GAs we had. We had a gentleman named Chris Kosh, and Chris ended up being D coordinator for Nick Saban at Michigan State, worked for Lou Holtz. He had an outstanding career in college football. And then we had a gentleman, Ron Cooper, who was a head coach at Louisville. He's now the head coach at Long Island University, but he was with Lou at South Carolina. Been at LSU. He was another rock star in coaching. And then another GA named Vinny Serrato, who was Lou's recruiting coordinator at Notre Dame and brought all those guys in, Ricky Waters and all that, those cats. So he ended up being the GM at the San Francisco 49ers and the Washington Redskins.
That's right.
Yeah. And then the next GA was Jeff Horton, who ended up being the head coach at Reno and Las Vegas and was our offensive coordinator at Wisconsin when we went to the Rose Bowl in '99. So those were the 5 GAs, and they were rock stars. And so those are the guys I hung out with. And 3 of us ended up on Saturday going to this Irish bar.
You have to.
Right across from the campus. And it's obviously pre-game for St. Patty's Day. And this place was crazy. But
I bet it was.
We had a great time. I played injured the next day. Let's put it.
I bet you did. Yeah, I can't go. I'll go, but I don't put me in man coverage. Play me in zone coverage.
The Coach Holtz stories were just. We were laughing till we were crying. Just laughing till we were crying. All the stories that we were. His strength coach for 11 years. 10 years at Notre Dame was there, and it was fantastic. So, it's really sad. You get to a funeral and the times are sad that brings you together, but the joy of seeing the people that amazing how Coach Holtz, how these coaches gather these people together at a certain time in their careers, and they are unforgettable personalities.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and you were also scheduled to hang out with Shane Beamer, right? When's that? Is that already happened? Or is that coming up?
Yeah, well, no, Wednesday. I went Wednesday.
You went Wednesday. Well, how's that going down there? Yeah, how'd that go?
Great. This is my third time going there. Torian Gray is the second DB coach.
That's right.
And he's also now like co-coordinator there. And Torian is a very special player that I had the great honor of coaching at Virginia Tech. And it was funny when I saw him, I said, well, when you're through with this NFL gig, because I think he put 5 years in or whatever. I said, when you're through, he was a brilliant student, brilliant football player. I said, well, give me I said, what do you want to do? He goes, I want to go into coaching. I said, well, give me a call when you get out. So lo and behold, they cut him 5 years later, like in June, they cut him. So he's out. So guess what? I get a call 5 years later. And coach, can you help me? I want to coach. I said, oh, well, let me see what I can do. And I'm trying to think, let me see if I can call people, graduate assistants. We didn't have any room because at that time you could only have 2 or 4. I forget the stupid number.
Sure.
So honest to God, what's crazy when things are meant to be, 3 days, about a week later, I get a call from a gentleman named Scott Lakatos, who was my GA at Syracuse, and he was the defensive coordinator at Maine. And he calls me up. He says, hey, I need a DB coach. I said, hey, I got the guy for you. Don't just interview him, just hire the son of a gun. You'll love him, because they were running our defense at Virginia Tech. And I said, Torian, not only did he play it, he knows it better than I do right now, I promise you. So he hired Torian at Maine, and that's how his career got started. And Torian had been he coached at Virginia Tech for a little bit, and been at Florida with Todd Grantham, Chicago Bears, and now he's with Shane at South Carolina and doing a great job. And they treat us, I've always said this, Rick, people don't have to treat you nice or they don't have to.
Right.
And I'll tell you, every time I've gone up there, we've been treated so well.
You should be. Should be. That's good.
Well, I don't know about should be, but I always, like I said, don't forget, I'm scared to death when I get around former players. We were talking, I made him laugh so hard. We were talking about a couple of players that I had coached at Virginia Tech while he was there. And I said, you know what? I would not have played for me the more I think about it. And so we had some good time. But it was great. They've got good skill people. They're almost in that dilemma like Georgia years past. Their perimeter, if you're standing up on your feet, they got people in the top half of the SEC. But if you put your hand in the dirt, being a lineman, D lineman, that's where that's what separates them. What separates them from a top echelon SEC team to a bottom half SEC team is the lines of scrimmages, because quarterback, receiver, running back, linebacker, defensive backs, there's a lot of SEC teams would like to have their kids. And I don't know if that could be said about the lines of scrimmages. That's their challenge, and it always has been and will be at a place like South Carolina, as it was with Georgia when Mark Richt was there. That's what I saw.
Did he talk? Did you talk to him much about? I mean, obviously he's on the hot seat now. Let's just say it the way it is. They're feeling some heat down there. Did they express how big of a year it was at all? They just going into it like
no. When I walked into the defensive back meeting room, and a lot of those guys that didn't go in the portal, because I've been going there for 3 years. It was like, hey, coach, it was almost like a welcome back.
Yeah, hey, I'm glad you're here.
I'm getting high fived and everything. So right before the match, so I said, hey, you better keep this guy's job so I can come back next year. You better play your ass off. They were laughing at butt.
Oh, that's good.
No, you know what? The thing about the SEC or any Power Four right now, particularly with NIL or portal, whatever, Rick, there's not a coach's coaches that's not on the hot seat. Not one. Everyone's on the hot seat.
Even the ones that have, because they're like, what are you going to do for us now? What are you going to do for us now? Right?
Every coach is on the hot seat. Trust me. So, no, and Shane, we spent a lot of time, in between drills and stuff when he could have a little break and talk about his dad and, all the good. I told him how much he said, Coach, my dad loves you. I said, well, I don't know if he loves me, but I know he tolerated me. So we had a good laugh, and he was, it's always, you can tell when people are very sincere and, and appreciate you being there. And he was very sincere about it, very appreciative that, and I was the same way, reciprocal about being able to get up there and, kind of like walk around just like, you were coaching. I'll tell you one thing he's doing I thought was really good. And I told him, he always asks me, he goes, tell me what you think, blah, blah, blah. After
sure. Well, absolutely. Yeah.
But one thing he's doing that I was really impressed with, I like this, kind of in tune to what when I was coaching, I would have done this. He goes out 3 days a week. And one day is designated as an individual period, and that's the day we were there, which nothing but individual period and teaching the fundamentals of the game and special teams emphasis as far as group work and our emphasis in terms of especially the cover teams, punt cover and kickoff cover. And that's the day. And it's a short practice, but it's all individual work, teaching. Then they'll have another practice where they'll do more group work. They'll have individual, but they'll get into more group work. And then the one day is nothing but team times. So it's like a build-up. You segment, you're building up your teachings from a one-on-one to a group work to a team work. And that's how I've always. Yeah, me too. I do too, because I did very similar in terms of, how you segment your practices, whether it's by down and distance, situations, game planning particularly. But I do like that. And that's what he's doing. I thought that was pretty unique.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I know it's been a whirlwind for you, and I know you had fun with the tournament yesterday, right? You were watching the games, Texas. How about High Point? How about the Big Sky? How great is that? Huh?
Oh my God! You know what? Of all the teams I was watching, because when I watch these games too, I don't know a damn thing about basketball, but I can see. But I can see coaching. I can see which teams are well coached, well prepared, well coached. If I'm Syracuse, I'm hiring that guy from Siena who's a Syracuse grad. I'm hiring him.
Oh, I think that's going to happen. What everybody's saying.
You think so?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, but I said to myself, that was probably of all the teams I saw, I thought, and I maybe no idea what I'm talking about or what I'm looking at, but I thought they were the most well coached.
Yeah, they did. They hung in. Yeah. Yeah.
Really well coached, between passing the ball, playing defense, playing up, both sides of the court. And I was very impressed with them. And then High Point, oh my God, that was cool.
That was cool.
I mean, that was great. You know what I'm thinking too, Rick? This double motivation's here now. Normally it's like, hey, we get a chance to beat topple a big guy and advance in this tournament and make a legacy for myself or this team. But now, hey, it's also, hey, I'm playing for NIL money too.
Oh,
don't you tell that Doty kid for Siena? I don't know.
I don't know what his year was either. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, if he's got eligibility, Cha-ching.
And that kid down low, the post kid who was working so hard.
He won the lotto.
Woo.
He's in. Don't you think, Rick?
Yeah, those guys were good, man. That kid was a good player. Yeah.
You know, and I'm watching some of these games and I'm going, you know, VCU and Siena and High Point, and I'm looking at these kids. I'm going, I'll bet that guy on that bench is playing against him. Going, I wish I had him.
I know. And the thing about Chase Johnston, you know, he was hitting all these threes, and for us in the Big South, I was talking to some of the other broadcasters. They were like, well, yeah, he hits shots like that all the time. That's all he's a 3-point specialist. He made his money. Yeah. That's all he does. I mean, for him to make a layup, they ended up being the winning point.
The kid never scored.
He never hit a 2-pointer all year.
That's hilarious.
That was. It was great. It was great.
Oh no, that was a lot of fun. I
know.
I enjoyed those. You know what? I wasn't going to watch them because I'm looking at the matchups. I'm going, this is going to be boring. You know what the hell? But you know what? After watching that TCU Ohio State game,
that was a hell of a game.
That was a great game.
It really was.
And so I said, that's it. I said, I'm watching the rest of these, and I'm glad I did because it was exciting.
That was a great way to get the tournament started, and it carried through
really
the rest of the day. That was awesome.
Now, Rick, correct me if I'm wrong because you're up on this so much. It seemed like to me, I've never seen where a first round play of so many upsets.
It's been a while.
Spreads.
Yeah, there were. It felt like the old tournament. You know, last year was kind of more chalk. All 4 number 1 seeds made the final. It was kind of like,
Yeah, exactly.
But yesterday felt like the whole day, and it was really started, as you mentioned. I thought TCU Ohio State got off to a great start, and then here comes High Point, you know, and doing what they did. Here comes Siena, and you're just engaged. It's like, wow. I mean, this is what it's all about. So it was great to see it go back, and I hope day 2. It probably won't, but I hope day 2 can echo what we saw yesterday. I hope so.
That'd be great.
So we'll
hey, you got an all-star cast on here today.
It's unreal. It really is. We got a lot going on today.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see the show. I'm glad you put me on first.
Oh yeah, I didn't know you were going to be back for sure, and you said, "Hey, you want me to come on tomorrow?" I said, "Yeah, I'll be fine in time," and had to be early. And you were like, "Sure," because I know you're up.
I thought maybe you need a filler or something.
Oh, by the way, Grantham wanted me to tell you that when you go down to UAB, he's going to put you to work. So you better be ready to work when you get down there.
Unbelievable.
You're going to be working.
Next week, I got to go to New Mexico. I'm going to New Mexico.
Oh, that'll be cool. A little Lobo football. Yeah.
Yeah, a little more football there. I'm looking forward to all these. It's going to be a lot of. Hey, and by the way, I saw on the YouTube the Tech Sideline. They did a segment with J.C. Price.
Yeah, we're going to try to get him on. He's now at ETSU. Congratulations to him. Yeah.
At the Coach Holtz Celebration of Life, the head coach's name, Will Healy, I think. I can't remember his name now. I'm so bad with names. Well, I got a chance to meet him. I don't know. He and Skip are really close, and I don't know what the association with he and Lou, but a young guy, and really, they've said he's done a great job at coaching at East Tennessee State. I think they won like 7 games last year. And but I saw JC was going to East Tennessee as a D-line coach. And I said, well, good for him. You know, sometimes in this business, Rick, it happened to me 3 times in my career. You got to take 1 step backward to go 2 steps forward. And I had to do that 3 times in my career when you look and you say, you know, I remember, when I was started out in coaching, when Coach Norton called me up to go to Ferrum Junior College. And I said, you know, let me do this. And it worked. You know, when I was at West Virginia and gotten fired, I went to Marshall. And it was one of the better jobs that I had. So sometimes I always tell coaches when you get fired, it's an opportunity to find a better job.
That's right.
So, but no, I appreciate you having me on, Rick.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. I'm glad hopefully you can get some rest here coming up.
You know what? I'm doing pretty good. I've had to cut back on the wine. That's the only thing that's really pissing me off. I made a commitment to myself. I said, you know what? I said, I got to be on point on all this travel. And I've doing more travel in the next 3 weeks than I had, I don't know, since COVID. Before COVID, I was traveling a lot. But now it's all good. I can't wait to see the rest of the guests you have.
Yeah, Stacy's supposed to join us next. We're going to talk about what's going on with the IHRA and everything else. So it'll be great. It'll be great.
Burnop and I played against each other. You know that.
Yes.
Mary.
Yeah.
In the 72 season. Yeah. Well, tell Mike I give everybody my best.
I will.
I appreciate it, Rick. It was a lot of fun.
It was, Coach. I appreciate you, man, as always.
All right, my buddy. Take care.
Get some rest. All right, brother. Thanks, care.
Oh, I will.
Phul Elmassian back from the celebration. We're going to call it what it should be, a celebration of the great Lou Holtz. And I'm glad he had a great time. And, boy, when you go to an Irish pub in South Bend, I mean, you are really going to an Irish pub in South Bend. Yeah, Brandon, day one was great. Today won't live up to it, but boy, I hope it does. Tebow says, honestly, I never want anything to do with Shane coming to Tech. Drama queen. Yeah. Sat there and guaranteed a playoff berth. So, yeah. Yeah. It feels like he set himself up knowing that if he doesn't have the kind of year that they expect, he's going to be done anyway. I mean, there's tension there between him and that AD. And if they don't have a decent season this year, I don't know what a decent season looks like down there now. I mean, they were in the top 15 last year. But remember, again, we had it here on the show, and you watched when Tech went into that fourth quarter and they were only down 10-8. And this isn't a slight on Tech, but we know how their season turned out. You just went and you watched that game play out, and you're like, that's not a top 15 national team. Talking about South Carolina. That's not, no. And they never got it back. Lenore Sellers wasn't, I didn't think he was that good. And everybody's all excited that he's coming back. Okay. Is he a leader? Or he just want to go stay there because he knew that was going to be his biggest payday? Yes, he had the good season a couple years ago where they rallied and made some noise about trying to sneak in the back door of the playoff. Yes. And they beat Carolina in the other Carolina in the Mayonnaise Bowl. But that's a program that has all the pay-for-play money that they need. So they should have good players, right? But he has set himself up. There's no doubt about it that they have to turn it around this year or he's not going to be there in 2027. He's just not. But it's almost like I think he's come to accept that, which is why. Hey, let me let Stacy know here. All right. Trying to get Stacy Compton on here. We're going to talk some IHRA. Mike Ashley, then Mike Burnop, and then Jen. It never slows down today. But, yeah, yesterday was fun. You know what? We were owed that as sports fans. We put up with a lot of crap all the time. None of it seems to ever trend in the right direction for any of us. So yesterday was that. It was. Well, he should have gotten it. Make sure it's got the right email. I'm making sure I have the right email here. You know, we take you behind the curtain here. We don't try to make sure this is a production that's hidden from everybody. What if it has to be capital letters? I'll send him that one too. I'll do it that way. Sometimes you don't know, right? You have capital letters, you have small letters, you have all right. All right. And I'm a terrible typist, keyboard typer. So, yeah, there's a lot of that, Tebow. Yeah, there is. There is. Okay. All right, we'll try to get Stacy on here. Yeah, the post-game interviews are let's just say what they are. They're meltdowns are what they are. They're meltdowns. But I think if they don't have a decent year and if things don't work out for them, you'll see him probably settle in on a staff somewhere. Yeah. Yep. Don't know what special teams coach, maybe something like that. But we'll see how they do this year. Maybe they rally. Maybe he's put together enough talent. Maybe it happens. We'll see. And we'll see. But we've got Mike Ashley, open mic, Mike Burnop, and Jen coming up in a little bit. Thanks to Coach Elmo. Great to have him back from the Lou Holtz celebration. That was awesome. He sent some great pictures hanging out with former players and coaches. Notre Dame legacy, man, and have Coach Elmo there. That was cool. All right, so we know that the presenting sponsor of this program is Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. That gentleman is Stacy Compton. And, boy, anything happening this weekend, Stacy? Good morning, man. How are you?
Well, I'm sleep deprived more than anything else right now. I think I left the racetrack about 11:30 last night, and but it's going to be an exciting weekend, man. I've got haulers parked all the way out the driveway already, and we're going to have a big show.
Well, I can't tell you how many people are excited. Of course, Stacy Compton. How long did you drive? How long were you on the circuit, by the way? How long did you drive?
Almost 20 years.
20 years. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
All the go-karts, when I was 6, and then moved to the go-karts to late model, straight from late model to we ran the cup race in Martinsville in 96, and then got a lot of people's attention, and trucks 97, 98, 99, and then cup and bush and back to trucks, and did it for a long time.
You did, and you had a lot of success. And now, of course, you're the general manager of Pulaski County Motorsports Park. Talk about how all this came to be, your relationship. You know this state pretty well, I think, but what happened? Talk about that relationship with Jonathan Sweet and with Tim Miller and how all this came to be.
It was the way that it all worked out. Funny, I had a bunch of buddies that are working with the new IHRA touring series. And they called up and said, hey, would you be interested in doing something with IHRA? We've got a touring series we can ready to start. And I said, sure, it's 8 races. And I said, yeah, I can do that. My daughter one of my daughters just graduated college and the other one just started college. So I said, I've got a little extra time on my hands now. And came up, met with them. And they said, hey, would you be interested in running this place? And I'm like, that's not exactly what I thought about 8 races on the touring series, but I thought about it. I said, man, what a great opportunity. If you look at what IHRA and Daryl in particular, his visions of what the opportunities that we've got here. And I mean, the facility, and obviously David Hagan did a great job when he was here, left a nice facility. A lot of work had to be done after the, Tim Miller has been a godsend helping me over here with this thing, but they asked me if I'd be interested in operating it, and we're getting the round track ready to go for this huge race week. It's kind of like Daytona. This is the biggest race of the year for us, and it's IHRA's first event. So a lot of things going on in the last 3 weeks, but pretty excited about working with the county. We've got some great sponsors already. We've got Boone Tractor came on board. David Stevens Plumbing. We've got Total Towing come aboard. Of course, with what the county's doing has been outstanding. And a lot more to come. We're working on obviously the circle track is ready for a race this weekend. And as soon as we get through this weekend, and if anybody that's driven by sees all the work that's been going on in the drag strip as well, we're planning on, I'm hoping to have a race at the drag strip by middle of next month. A lot of parts and pieces moving, but it's looking good.
Well, it's great. People are asking, they love the fact that the ovals are back, but they love the drag strip. So the fact you're bringing back the combo, man, it's going to give fans so many more options, isn't it? It's great.
It really is. And we've got a lot of plans. I mean, we want to do a summer concert series. I want to bring karting back. I came from karting. There's just not a lot of places to do that right now. Like I said, if we can get the summer karting series, we want to do some cruise-ins. We just want people to come out and see the facility. It's been a while since a lot of people have actually been out here and seen the facility. I think when they drive over the hill and they see the suites and they see everything that's going on, they're going to be like, wow, this place is back up and running. And I'm excited about it. Like I said, hopefully we can do a lot of different events other than just racing out here. I mean, the community, you think about it, there's not a lot of counties that has what Pulaski County has got right now. I mean, with Calfee Park, with the sports complex, with everything that they're doing, it's a lot to do up here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you seem like the perfect person for this because you understand grassroots racing, if you will, right? You broke in, you had to work so hard as a driver, but you now have segued over to the business side to help other drivers. That seems like that's a natural fit. No wonder the IHRA, wanted you to be part of this in Pulaski County. It's perfect. It's a perfect match.
Well, I think it helps a little bit. And obviously we haven't had our first race yet. So, but trust me, it's not just me. It's a lot of people have a lot to do with putting this thing on. But, IHRA come in and said, what do we need to do to make it work? And, as a racer, but also as a fan and somebody that knows the sport, we know it's price conscious. This weekend obviously is we're almost, if you want to call it, leasing the racetrack to IHRA, but and we're going to have a huge crowd up here this weekend. We feel like with what we've seen in ticket sales and with what we've seen with car count, especially, I think it's going to be a barn burner. But once we get through this weekend and start looking at our weekly series, our ticket prices are going to be $12.
Oh, wow.
12 and under is going to be free. All veterans get in free. We're going to do a first responders weekend. I mean, we're doing a lot of things like that to make sure that it's affordable. And I think that's one thing that made this track successful to begin with was affordability. And we want it to be cheaper to come out here than it is to go to a movie theater or something like that. And we're not trying to take business from anybody else, but also we want to make it affordable where people can come out, and we want to get our youth back out here. And that's a big part of it. I feel like, as far as the competitors are concerned, we've changed up a few things as far as registration. We've changed up a few things, to help the crowds get in, help, the racers get in where they don't stand in line for hours, trying to get signed in. If you look at what Daniel and Tim and Dennis Adcock and everybody involved with the touring series has done, it's going to be a heck of a race this weekend. I mean, we've seen a lot of testing up here already, and the cars are fast, and we've had some really good cars come up here and test. So I'm pretty excited about 12 o'clock today when we get everybody on the racetrack and see how fast these guys are going to be.
Stacy Compton joined us on the program, the manager of Pulaski County Motorsports Park. So when you got here, Stacy, take us through this, because a lot of people ask, what did you see about the track? What immediately did you see you guys had to do to get this track ready to go for when it's starting tomorrow?
Well, again, the bones were here. That's the biggest thing. I mean, if obviously not a lot had been done in a year and a half, 2 years.
Sure.
There was a lot that needed to be done with the racetrack. We did a lot of work. We spent tons of time on the racetrack getting it ready, because everything else we can kind of work around as the season goes on, but the racetrack had to be right. And we did a lot of paving. We did a lot of sealing. We did a lot of vacuuming and cleaning and a lot of things like that. The entire facility has been painted. I mean, I'm talking walls inside and out, the buildings. I mean, the drag strip side, all those walls have been painted. It's just been a lot of maintenance.
Sure.
I think I've been home 3 days in the last 3 weeks. So, but again, it's not just me. It's been a lot of people involved. I've got a lot of people that has stepped up and helped. We brought Lynn Carroll back. He's been retired for years and as far as I'm concerned, one of the best officials there's ever been. We brought Lynn Alderman back, that she has been here a long time. I've got a couple of guys that have helped me at home. They've been up here and spent a lot of time up here. Again, Tim's helped tremendously with a lot of things that we've been needing to get done, and has helped get through some of the red tape to get a lot of these things done. But the biggest thing was just maintenance and getting a lot of things done. David Stevens come up and plumbing, and they've worked. We've rebuilt almost every toilet and water line and everything in here. So there's a lot of things like that we've spent a lot of time working on and making sure when people get here, it's a good experience. And that's been the biggest part. It's just general maintenance and repairs of things that, where a track sits for a year and a half, 2 years. It just takes a little while. You'd be surprised what can go wrong after it's set up.
Well, what's great too, you mentioned it's located in Pulaski County. This is going to be a unifier for all the surrounding counties and communities. Racing, people are going to come from far and away to come up to the new park to experience it. So it's going to be like, it's now a place to go. It's now an event to plan a weekend around it. That's what you guys have done already. So,
well, that's what we're hoping. Again, not just the racing. We want to do a lot of things here, and it's such a nice facility. And if you think about it, it's just like you said. Everybody says, "Oh, it's in the middle of nowhere." It's in the middle of everything. If you think about
everything,
it,
right?
We're an hour from Bristol. We're an hour from Roanoke, Salem. We're not that far from West Virginia line and Wytheville, and so we're 2.5 hours from Charlotte. We're not far from anywhere. So as we start running and we're going to run the Legends cars as well, and we'll be INX certified, sanctioned. So I feel like we're going to pull some Legends cars from there. Our weekly series. We're running in conjunction with Lonesome Pine. So we're running the same rules. We're running off weekends from them. So we're
cool.
Really working well with those guys. It's always better to work together versus against. And Joey Owens, the new owner up there, I went to him and I said, look, would you be interested in doing this? And he said, oh, heck yeah. This is a perfect situation that we can work the two racetracks together and potentially draw cars from there. And then they can draw cars from here as well.
Folks are asking about the traffic going in and out. Is that still going to be the same, or sometimes it did bottleneck sometimes, or did you guys address that as well?
We hope so. Obviously we've got the sheriff's department has been amazing to work with. They're going to be out here, with traffic and things of that nature. And obviously it's tough to get out on Route 11 from here. But we do have, we're going to have, 6 deputies out here working with us on traffic flow. And then obviously we got a parking plan that, every good plan has a possibility of falling apart. We certainly hope it don't, but being the first race and with a lot of different, parts and pieces and people moving, we hope it's not. Right now, everything is run really smooth so far. It's early yet, but I feel like as we move forward, we'll get the traffic situations all under control. And like I said, the sheriff's department has been awesome to work with. I think that's going to help a bunch that we've got, some officers out there directing traffic and things of that nature. And we've got long days. So the way we've got it structured, people can come in a lot of different times during the day, which will help. Obviously, everybody's going to be leaving at the same time, but I think the way that we've got it structured right now, we hope. And again, I say that we hope that everything will go well with it being our first race and IHRA's first race. We feel like it will, but again, I told the guys, I said, we're not going to be 100% the first race because there's been so much to be done. But if we can be 80% without a major catastrophe, it'll be a win. And so far, I feel like, with everybody and everything that we've done, it's going really good right now. Now I'm knocking on them as much as I know Murphy's Law, but right now we feel pretty confident.
So, Stacy, let people know the schedule again for the weekend, the times and so forth like this. I know you're going to get a big crowd from this show that's going to show up on Saturday.
Well, we certainly hope so. And I want to make sure I tell the schedule right. So I got it right here in front of me. Today, everybody is coming in. We're basically parking at 11 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. The teams come in, go through the normal technical things. Practice starts at 1 o'clock today. Tomorrow for the teams, the track opens at 7 o'clock. The stands actually open tomorrow at 2. And then we've got fan zones. We've got show cars up here. We've got a lot of different things that's going on once you get here. So practice all day tomorrow and qualifying both. Of course, they got to go through technical inspection. But again, we've got a lot of things for people to do once you get here, other than just sit in the stands and watch racing with the fan zone and everything else. IHRA has done a really good job of bringing a lot of different merchandise up here. If people want a chance to buy some stuff there, we feel like our concessions are going to be spot on this year. And again, hopefully very affordable. Right now, because it's a new series, and the only downside for some, and it may not be a big deal for the other, but this weekend we will not have alcohol. We're still waiting on the ABC board to approve our license,
Sure.
Which is just a process. You've got to advertise for 30 days, and it's a process. But again, we're pretty excited about it. With hopefully the affordability and the concession stand and everything else. Especially during our weekly series, that people are going to come up here and say, man, I can come up here and it's affordable and it's not going to break the bank.
Yeah, right. It's very family budget friendly, it sounds like, too. That makes it even better. That makes it even better. Well, listen, man, congratulations. I'm excited as hell for you. Of course, being presented by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment here on the show. I know Jonathan and Tim very well. Their energy and their drive is contagious, right? And I think you're the same way. So similar personalities converging to make this project be a success, man. It's going to be great. It's going to be
absolutely great. Well, we appreciate it. Invite everybody to come out this weekend. Everybody to come out next month for the drag racing and the circle track, and look forward to seeing everybody back out here.
All right, man. We'll get you on again soon, man. Best of luck this weekend, man. Have a blast. I know you will.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Stacy. Take care. There you go. Stacy Compton joined us. That's great, man. How much fun is that? It's so great to have it back. So great. I will, Steve. I will do that. That's the general manager of Pulaski County Motorsports Park, Stacy Compton. Great stuff. Well, we'll ask Stacy about the chamber, get them involved, Montgomery County, everybody, Ed and Tim and all those folks. Great people. You can tell Stacy just is going to do a great job. Great job. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Let me send Mike Ashley his invite. We're keeping it motoring along here. Let me let Mike know that we can get him on now. Again, we're taking you behind the curtain here. But yeah, how great was that? It's so well thought out. And yeah, it may not go, it may not go perfectly first time. It may not, but you know what? It's going to be just fine. It's going to be just fine. And I think a lot of people here are going to be supporting it. But I'll pass that along, Steve, from the chamber. I will do. Great stuff. Great stuff. What's going on, Chris Lesser? How are you? Good to see you, man. But that's great, man. That's great. I think it's just great to have it back. And I think they're going to have a big crowd there this weekend. I do. Did I have a drink? Yeah, I do. Dale Curry having his number retired, by kind of a no-brainer, right? Should have happened earlier. Be honest with you. Uh-oh. Wayne and Chris talking about the NBA. Good luck with that. But yeah, Dale got honored by the Hornets. Why just now? That was my first question. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, really? He's not already? Okay. Surprised me. Mike Ashley's going to join us here in just a little bit. Then Mike Burnop will go over what he saw yesterday at practice. I thought about Andy because it was basically highlights of what he talked about. Quarterbacks who have no pressure, have nothing but receivers in front of him throwing the ball. But, it's the first workout of everybody together, so it's good to see. Hey, did you see James Franklin wearing all black? It's great. That was great. 13-3, Brandon. I only missed 3. And the only one I gambled on that I missed was I didn't pick High Point. I'm glad they won. Now, trust me, sometimes you don't mind missing. That was one I didn't mind missing. I missed that one. I missed St. Mary's and A&M, and I missed South Florida. If there'd have been 2 more minutes of the South Florida-Louisville game, South Florida would have won. They rallied from like 22 down. We're down 4 with the ball, missed a 3, and then lost the game. So not too bad. Not too bad for day 1. Day 2 coming up. Day 2 coming up. Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah. He's not wearing black by accident. Been trying to tell you, get ready. And not only will they wear black, they'll wear it multiple times. So I sent Mike the invite. Burnop at 7:45, and then we're going to just talk about the end of Tech's basketball season and football, and then we'll have Jen on, see where Jen is on everything. So there you go. All right, good stuff. And there he is, joining us on the program with open mic. Cheers.
How we doing today?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I've had better days than yesterday.
I know. I thought about you as well. You and Marva and David Smith, a lot of my friends, man. It's tough. I know. I got to ask you too. I mean, this isn't just necessarily as a result of the game last night, but Hubert Davis isn't the guy, is he? No, he's not. Not to get Carolina back to what they should be.
Okay, let me have another sip of coffee here before I go down this road, this tobacco road.
Look, we appreciate the legacy, and I know he got appointed by Roy, but, it's time to kind of think, okay, we've done this.
I didn't think that till last night, till they called that timeout. You go down and you take your guys should be well trained enough to take a good shot there without needing that timeout to let the defense set. And then Henry Visar has been a tremendous addition, but man, he does not handle the ball well out high in the high post there when they run offense through him there. He is prone to have turnovers, as the stats would reflect. And and he needs to learn that you have to hit the rim if you're going to miss a free throw on purpose. Those were the kind of mistakes growing up, I never saw Tar Heel teams make. And that's all I'm going to say about that for now, because I don't know what the answer is. I see Wes Miller's being fired, and I see who else was out on the market. Jared Haas maybe is rumored as a candidate at UNCG. So we're talking about top former Tar Heels there, and that's the line in the sand. I think Dean Smith was such a revolutionary part of the game and social justice, which is important if you look at UNC's place in that in the ACC, bringing in Charlie Scott, stealing him from Davidson, I know, but bringing in Charlie Scott and integrating basketball. And the thing Dean Smith meant to people down there, I don't know if you can get too far away from that, which limits them right now, because we're getting further and further away from people having that direct connection. So it's a tough circumstance right now. But again, Rick Watson, you and I both know that there's very little in athletics these days, professional or college, that can't be solved with a whole lot of money. And I don't think the Tar Heels are putting enough into that area in the NIL to get the best players out of the portal, or they're just it's just something. Their evaluation of the players they're bringing in, they're not complete players. I look at Duke, and I see an NBA team with their length, their athleticism, their 3-point shooting. Carolina's got guys that can do one or two things, but they can't do everything like a lot of these Duke guys can. And, if you're going to compete in the best rivalry in sports, you better hold up your end a little bit better. There.
Maybe that's why Duke almost got beat yesterday, because they look like an NBA team.
Well, they're missing two key parts too. And this is the beauty. And Coach Klayman at High Point, stated it with some veracity there and some intensity. This is one of the things wrong with college athletics. There are a lot of teams out there that can play basketball, as we see every year in these 2 days, the first days of the tournament, but they don't get the chance because it's not just that the other teams won't play them, which they don't anymore, because it hurts their ratings too much. The higher teams in the RPI and rank, what's the upside to playing one of these other schools, particularly on a neutral court? You're going to bring them to your court. You're going to have your conference officials there that are used to I'm not saying there's a bias there, but inherently they're used to seeing the players that they ref over and over and over again. And then some new team comes in and doing something different. There is the chance that it won't work out. Plus, the mid majors and the small D1s never get to play on their home courts against anybody big. No. And financially, I get that, but don't hold it against them at the end of the year with these terrible seeds in the tournament that they didn't play a great schedule, because that's not really their fault all the time.
No, and Siena clearly wasn't a 16 seed. They showed that yesterday. They were pretty upset by the fact they got a 16 seed against the team that's the top seed of the tournament, right, coming in and all that. But, it's going to be interesting to see. But Carolina's not just a blue blood. They're one of the 3 top blue bloods. It's not like North Carolina's just lumped in with 6 or 7 other programs. It's North Carolina freaking basketball. So it's time for them to kind of look at this, and we'll see what happens with it. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Things down there are interesting with Bill Belichick and now Hubert, who came across really badly in the post-game press conference. I don't know. It's just, we'll see.
Well, and there is a New River Valley Radford connection there. They're he's retiring this year, but their guy in charge of the Ram Club, in charge of fundraising down there, is John Montgomery, a Radford graduate, Giles County, another Giles County product. They're everywhere, Marty Smith and company. But they're I've felt particularly close to the program since John's been there in charge of that, having seen him come up through the ranks, where we at the end of the 2-week pay periods back in Radford, when he was in charge of sports promotions there, and I was, assistant SID, those 2-week paychecks, when you're living the bachelor lifestyle in Radford, woohoo, didn't always go to the end of the second week. And I remember a big night for us sometimes was over in our rent control departments, getting together and eating jalapenos on Ritz crackers and drinking cost cutter beer. So he's come a long way, my friends. He's come a long way. Yeah. Anyway.
That was the old yellow can, wasn't it?
Yellow and black. I always call it the beer of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's great. That's great. What'd you think about Virginia Tech turned down the NIT? They've gotten a lot of heat, man. Mike Young's gotten a lot of heat for not playing that tournament.
Part of my problem being up here and away from everything, and I don't know if it's much better down there unless I pay more money, is I don't get access to a lot of information about the Hokies other than the internet. And boy, I'm not going to believe everything I read there. So,
no.
But their top scorer was hurt, right? And apparently they had some other injuries. They were down a couple of people, and I don't know. I find it disappointing in that, other than the time I worked there and got Del Curry's senior year, that was pretty good. That was pretty good back then. We had a good time then. Knocked off Memphis. I think they were still Memphis State then. Knocked them off on a week when they weren't actually number one, but they were going to be number one.
They were going to be, right,
when the poll came out, and Virginia Tech beat them. And anyway, that great team Charlie Moyer had that year. Other than that, the thing that makes me care about Virginia Tech basketball back in the day was the NIT. There's a school that actually has the positive history of it back in the day. I was out there on the court across the street at the elementary school, trying to hit the front of the iron and bounce the ball back to myself so I could shoot another jumper and make it, just like Bobby Stevens did. That was it. And when I got to beat Bobby Stevens, professional journalism. It's like, hey, so remember when you hit that shot against Notre Dame? That was great.
Remember that? Yeah, you recorded to Chris Farley.
That was the question.
Remember when you were with the Beatles? That was awesome.
Yeah. Although that was a tough time there at the end because, Bobby Stevens and Frankie Allen were vying for Coach Moyer's job after the idiots over in Burris Hall ran their own investigation and found out that a lot of Virginia Tech basketball players hadn't completed their degree. Yeah, they were overseas making tons more money than all your graduates. Okay, so geez, calm down, folks. Know a little about what you're making rulings on and deciding stuff on. Geez, and I called all those almost 30 years of bad basketball at Tech. After that, I call, it's like the curse of the Bambino. This was the curse of Charlie Moyer. And not that Charlie had any ill will against people there. It's just they did him so wrong. They deserve to be down in the dumps all that time. So actually, I like Mike Young, a local guy who grew up with the same kind of interest I did locally, being the guy there. And yeah, they finally got him some money this year, but Tech has to rebuild a lot of infrastructure, I think, to again they have to do it in football now too. So we'll see. And these are interesting times to be, trying to get back in the mix. But, what was it like 30 years ago that Mike Young won the ACC championship in basketball, which is something we could only dream about when we were kids, and he did it. And now he gets, he hasn't gotten any, what have you done for me lately, pal?
Frankie Allen, by the way, a hell of a dude.
He really is.
Really, really have a great relationship with Frankie. He's a great guy.
You still stay in touch with him?
Yeah, from time to time. Yeah, he'll reach out. I know he's been dealing with a lot, health wise. But Frankie, I knew him back. He is a really good dude. He's one of the few really down to earth, honest gentlemen that was in college basketball.
Yeah, he worked at Radford for a bit, but
he did.
I knew him from Tech, and of course he's a legend at Roanoke College. Was the leading scorer there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I tracked him down for when I was doing Play-by-Play magazine in Roanoke. I did a story when he was at Maryland Eastern Shore, which is a place it's where coaching careers go to die. But Frankie did all right there for a while. So
yeah, great dude.
But he is. Yeah, love Frankie.
Yeah, great dude. Open mic. What you got for us? You gonna talk about High Point?
High Point. I didn't pick them. I didn't either. I didn't see them play. I did not see them play this year. I didn't see either Radford game with them, and I didn't understand what they had physically. And I don't think they had it all when they played Radford because they had wasn't it Cameron Fletcher was out or something.
Yeah, he didn't play. Yeah, either game really. So
right,
yeah.
But the reason I picked Wisconsin is because I've seen Wisconsin play basketball the last few years, and they're like the Green Bay Power, the sweep. They just knock people down with those big guys setting screens and make it so tough. I winced during Wisconsin games watching Maryland players try and get around those screens and things. And I just thought they're bigger, stronger. But they're not. And High Point just has so many good players. Good gosh. And yeah, so that was a for me in the bracket. But anyway, yeah. How much have we talked about what's going on tonight in the Devon Center?
Well, let's do it. We have been, but yeah,
well,
it means a lot to you.
You know me. I it goes back 30 years with me. So it was 1989, and Radford was 4 years into Division I, and our women's team was one win away from a bid to the NCAA tournament. All we had to do was beat Campbell on our home floor, and we were about guaranteed a berth to the 48 team draw in the NCAA at that time as an at-large invitee, which 4 years into Division I is pretty dang good.
That's good, yeah.
But we didn't win. Campbell pulled a Villanova Georgetown kind of upset in our building, and one of those things that make sport great and soul crushing all at the same time. It was shattering for all of us in Plaid. I remember being in a coach's office, and there were tears, and because we thought we'd blown it. Turns out we got a bid to the Women's National Invitational Tournament, then in Amarillo, Texas, then an 8-team event. We were the last seed in those 8 teams, meaning that 56 schools got bids to the postseason in basketball then, and we were number 56. My boss, Rick Rogers, and I put on a media blitz. You would have been a part of it if you were working then. We had everybody around, Channel 7, 10, Ray Cox, everybody calling Amarillo about what our chances were of getting a bid. And so they thought we were like the New York media here in the River Valley. And I'm still proud of that one. Anyway, to the chagrin of the bigger teams and the bigger conferences, little old Radford got that last spot down there in Texas. And all the fat cats there embraced up-and-coming coach Charlene Curtis and being the ones that gave this underdog team a chance. Well, they did until about midway through the second half, top-seeded San Diego State and their 6'5" center, Shauna Perry, who was unlike anything we had ever faced here, maybe since back to when Pat Barrett was coaching against Old Dominion, Ann Donovan, and Inga Neeson. We had never seen anything like Shauna Perry. And so the Highlanders were down 17 midway through the second half, and the people over there from Amarillo were just shaking their heads. And that's about the time that Stephanie Howard, Patrinda Toney, and Charlene's full court press took over. We turned it into an end-to-end game. Patrinda and Stephanie put on a show. We took the game to overtime. It went to a second overtime before we finally just ran out of people and legs. And anyway, the next day we beat Richmond. It's nice to go all the way to Amarillo to get a game.
In-state game, right?
Yeah. And that was an overtime game, 60-57, came down to a last-second shot. Anyway, the next day we played DePaul in the consolation final, and we had a 17-point second half lead, and DePaul came all the way back, and we held them off. So it was, and we were darlings again because everybody enjoyed watching our team play so much down there. It was absolutely magical. How magical? Well, a bunch of us on the traveling support staff got off the long flight when we got there in Amarillo, threw our bags in the hotel, got in one of the rental vans, and took off in Texas looking for a steak, because that's what you do in Texas.
Well, yeah.
We pulled in the first place we saw because there was a line out the door. I think I spotted it because I could smell steak and crowds. Anyway, we figured it had to be good because of the line there. And about 6 of us were standing there when a guy with a clipboard came in and where we were and cut off the line just behind us. And he says, hey, you guys know what the deal is here tonight, right? And we were like, no, we just rolled into town. He said, this is a practice night. We're just opening. Everything's free tonight. Are you kidding me?
Hey. Woohoo!
Seems like we played with house money the rest of the week there. Thick steaks, every appetizer we could fit on the table between us, and even a few rounds of drinks. I still have my Hofbrau Steakhouse T-shirt here someplace, although it fits more like scuba gear now. We toured the Palo Duro Canyon, had a great time, and that's where I picked up the line that I used on radio that week that everybody remembers. I said, it's so flat in Texas, you can stand on a tuna can and see forever. It's still true. The hospitality of the folks in Amarillo has always stuck with me, and remembering the low of losing our shot at NCAA glory, and then that was replaced by 5 wonderful days in Texas, showing the world we were the real deal. I wish the same joy and redemption for the 25-26 RU women who renew their quest tonight at the Devon Center with a 7 o'clock home NIT game with Moorhead State. If you're hearing my voice, show up and root for the locals. Can't promise free steaks, but I guarantee they'll play hard and make you proud as they continue this 22-win season that was just one possession or so away from an NCAA trip for them too. You never know what can happen in the postseason, and it doesn't come to your backyard very often with tickets starting at $10 for adults and $5 for kids under 12. This is about as shameless a plug as I've ever given. And I endorse this message, and I endorse March Madness.
Yeah, it was great. We had Ellie. Let people get to meet Ellie and Joy. These are great young ladies too. Coach McGuire was on Wednesday. Got pretty emotional talking about this team and what they meant to him. So, yeah, come out and support them tonight. They deserve it. It'll be fun. Great atmosphere. We've worked hard to get things ready, so I hope people come out and support the team. Got a baseball game going on too, so you can come to basketball, then go over to playing VMI starting at 6. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So,
hey, let me say this as a guy who's since 1980 has watched women's basketball at Radford pretty damn closely. I did miss some years in there after Luby left when I didn't have as much of a connection to the program. But I used to tell people, you're going to be sorry if you don't come see Stephanie Howard play. Even if you don't like women's basketball, you need to
100%.
You need to come see this person play because you may see something you've never seen before. And I'm going to say the same thing, not quite the same level, but Joy Williams has turned it up to a higher level of play here at the end of this season. 30-point games. Her range is unbelievable. Caitlin Clark-esque at times, and somehow she gets that little tiny body she's quick, but she's not overly athletic or fast, but she gets to the basket and scores and finds ways to score. And it's truly amazing. And there's one other player I got to mention is and you know it because you had her on, Ellie Taylor. What a gamer she is. She's in the pantheon of people that sacrifice and just make the team better no matter what shows up in the box score. She's making that team better every time up and down the floor. I love Ellie Taylor. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Kate Carlson and Angelina Nice and Amira Jenkins and Kira Dandridge. They're all great players too. And future Big South Player of the Year, Georgia Simonson, is getting better every game. Every game.
We hope. We hope.
I know.
You know.
But,
and for you New River Valley fans, you got Tech in Oregon today at 1:30. So you can watch that, support Tech, and then come down and support Radford. So you're not going to miss anything. So come on down. Yeah.
Right. Go see a live game. Have fun.
That's right.
Immerse yourself in March Madness.
Well, you enjoy. I know you will. And I hope you're
I didn't enjoy last night.
I know you did.
My bracket I guess it busted. I guess I busted.
You got a busted bracket now.
I'm going to have to go see a bracketologist and get that worked out. I've got an appointment for next Thursday.
To go see your bracketologist.
Yes. It's not very good.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
Did you see the name of my bracket in your pool?
Oh, no, I did not. Battered sham bracketologist.
No. I mean, the bracket actually.
No, what was it?
I can't wait to tell you. It's Goober says NCAA. Anyway,
perfect.
So Goober says, "Hey, and happy bracketing to everyone that still has a chance."
hey, Goober. Oh, beautiful. We love Mike Ashley. Thanks, brother. Take care of yourself.
Thank y'all. Bye-bye.
So good. First player I think of, Dale Curry. Well, I'm going to age you a little bit more. First player I think of is that guy. That's Dale Solomon. By the way, look at that uniform. Virginia, number Tech. The perfect basketball uniform. Whatever the hell they're wearing now, they need to have a public burning. By the way, I didn't watch one game yesterday in the first round of the NCAA tournament where a team just had its logo. That's what Virginia Tech does. They don't put Virginia Tech. They have that VT. And I'm guessing the women will have it today too. It's not hard. Virginia, number Tech. Hokies, in script, like Bimbo Cole's era. Number VT. Doesn't transfer from the football helmet. Sorry. Put VT on the shorts. Right there on the hip. That's where you put your VT. But how about, displaying who you are instead of a logo that's oversized and really doesn't fit? Don't get me started. Dale Solomon for me. He's going to always be my favorite Tech basketball player. And I know people are going to say that, Dale Curry and Bimbo, and there's been great players, Malcolm Delaney, that have better numbers and all that. But Dale Solomon, to me, growing up watching the Metro Conference at Dale Solomon, I remember going over to Castle and watching Dale Solomon. I was barely old enough to know what basketball was, but I just remember how good he was. So he's always going to be my all-timer for Tech hoops, is Dale Solomon. Mike Burnop's going to join us coming up. We talked about not a lot of leadership over at Tech. That came out yesterday. Many of you were acknowledging that. Andy Bitter talked about it. Well, why don't we have somebody stand up and go, okay, we're going to quit messing around with our uniforms. Can we just put the school name on there? It'd be great. Ace Custis. Yeah, Ace is a great dude. I'm going to get Ace back on here. He came on the radio show a few times. See if I can get Ace on. Ace is a good dude. Ace is a good dude. Very good dude. But I cannot stand the VT on. It looks great. It's one of the best football logos, I think, in the country. It works so well on the helmet. Does not work on the basketball or softball or baseball or anything else. No, Alan Bristow. Oh, I know all about Alan Bristow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do. Tech's had some great basketball players. I mean, I know being a football school, that kind of gets lost, but Tech has a really, really terrific history of great basketball players. They really do. And, shame on the Charlotte Hornets for just now. Really? You're just now retiring Del Curry, his number or whatever? Was it his number or just his jersey? So does that mean nobody's ever going to wear that number again? Or they do like, well, here's the Del Curry jersey. Let me know. Yeah, I need to do that, Thunder. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. We can catch up with them. All right, good stuff. Thanks to Coach Elmo. Thanks to Stacy Compton. Thanks to Mike Ashley. We got Jen coming up. And now the other Mike, he a little bit delayed because he's been traveling. He's been all over the place. It's Mike Burnop joining us, brought to you by Louise Baker Long and Foster. What's up, Michael? How are you?
Good morning, Rick. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing okay, man. You finally settled. I know you've been busy this week.
Yeah, I've been a little busy and looking forward to going to practice tomorrow, football practice. It's be the first day they got pads on. They're going to do some tackling, and so that'll be exciting. And yesterday, man, what a great day of March Madness. Today will be awesome. And what a weekend. This is like the best weekend of the year, especially if you were playing in it.
Yeah, this is true. Well, let's get right to that, and then we'll address all the other things. Man, not just from people here, but all over. Tech, Mike Young getting criticized, not playing the NIT. They've been beat up all year. What were some of your thoughts on the decline of them not taking the NIT tournament? I wasn't surprised because he came on the show, and he was focused on getting a bid in the NCAA tournament. So for me, I didn't think much about it. And then all of a sudden, I see all this vitriol being directed at him.
Yeah. Well, I think a couple things. You don't know all the situations as far as what it is. It could be a number of things. Like number one, the injury to Hansberry, I don't think he was going to be able to play. Right. A couple of guys had the flu. So that's going to limit your numbers there too. And then you worry about the rest of them catching it. And then, you had the seniors that maybe want to get ready for the draft. I don't know all the facts of all that. You just don't know what Neo's story was. Maybe they didn't want to host because it costs a lot of money. I mean, it could be a little bit of everything in there. And so I guess they voted and decided to decline the invitation. I think it's disappointing, to say the least. I think it doesn't look good for the university when you turn down a bid when you could play more basketball. But that's above my pay grade. So I don't know all the details. But they probably would have had a number 1 seed, and probably in all likelihood would have played Navy, because that's what Wake got. Wake was a 1 seed and played Navy. That would have been an interesting matchup with the ROTCs, right? Have Navy come down and play Virginia Tech. I think that would have been fun. But it wasn't to be, and the decision was made, and you just got to move on with it. I don't, again, know all the details, but I think it was a little bit disappointing for the fans, and who knows how many would have showed up. But I know it's expensive to put these things on, and so I don't know. That's just one of those things sometimes you scratch your head about, but you can understand it both ways, really, when you got the injuries and the flu, and guys that may not want to play or whatever.
And I get it from a fan's perspective, because of Tech's strong history with that tournament. Tech's got a very strong relationship with the United, as well as anybody. So yeah. I think that's kind of where I think a lot of it was coming from.
Yeah, and they won it a couple times. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And the NIT is not what it was back in '73 when they won it the first time, of course. But yeah, I mean, it's still a good tournament, and it was a great opportunity to continue playing. And if I was a player, Rick, I'd take every opportunity I could to play.
I know.
mean, that's the thing, especially if you're like late in your career and it might be a limited number of games you have left. As a Virginia Tech Hokie, I'd try to play everyone I could, but that's just me. And, I know things are different these days. So.
Yeah, you're right. Well, let's look at football. It was yesterday, got underway, got to see guys. I mean, obviously nothing really going on, but getting guys through workouts and throwing and stuff. What were some of the observations you had yesterday watching the guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think the energy is great out there. They're doing a lot of stuff. It's constant movement. They're trying to get everybody as many looks as they can, and that's the beauty. Back in the day, Rick, when you only had the 10 coaches, and the other guys couldn't really coach, you were pretty limited at what you could do. But now, when you got all these assistants and analysts and this and that and player development, you can have stuff going on all over the place, and that's kind of what they do. So there's never a dull minute when a quarterback's not doing something, for example. And so I think, the wide receivers kind of stood out a little bit yesterday. And I think that the guys are all fired up. They're all playing hard or busting their butt. But again, until you get the pads on and you go live and do some tackling and all that stuff, I always had an old saying, everybody's an All-American in shorts, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And that's when you separate the men from the boys, when you put the pads on and you start a little contact and, have more one-on-ones and that type thing. So that'll be fun to watch tomorrow. I think the plan is to go into Lane Stadium, so that'll be good.
Good.
Of course, it's not open to the public, of course, but yeah, it'll be fun to watch and see how they're coming along, because, you can only know so much about your team in terms of like the weight room, the winter workouts, running and what. Until you get on the field, you don't know. And that's kind of where they are now. Only 2 days in, so still a lot to learn from everybody.
Mike Burnop joining us on the program. Thanks to Louise Baker, the Louise Baker team, Long and Foster. Well, it is exciting, and you're right. Getting pads on. How did the running backs look? I know you have some guys obviously announced weren't going to be able to participate much, if at all. But how did that rotation look back there with those guys?
It looks okay. Again, I mean, they're not doing a lot of live contact, but yeah, I think there's talent in that room for sure. And there are some guys banged up and whatnot. Guys, he gave the list out Monday at the press conference of who's going to be out for spring. So, Marcellus Hawkins, I think, was a limited guy on that list, but I think he'll be back. So we'll see. Yeah. And I'll tell you, the other thing was kind of cool, Rick. Last night, Coach Franklin had a Zoom call with all the ex-football players, all the alum, and there was 165 people on that Zoom call, on that Zoom. And he went and explained, how things were from November, December, going through the high school, getting 22 seniors, and talking about the portal that he had. I think they signed 27 of the 38 that they had from the portal. And he spoke about that. And then he talked about, what's been going on in winter workouts and how you develop the guys. And he got all the ex-players that were on his coaching staff now, the Anthony Midgets, the guys like that, Jared Ferguson, he got them to speak a little bit. Tyrell Smith is back. So, yeah, that was kind of a great little thing. Lasted about maybe 25 minutes. And I think the response was great for that. He's really reaching out, trying to get those ex-players involved and back.
And that is so big, isn't it? I mean, you need to have those guys engaged, because they they're always going to care about. They're always going to be enveloped in it because they were such a big part. Many of them such a big part of what Tech football became, right? I mean,
Yeah, there's no doubt, and it was great. And he told his story. A lot of people probably don't know, but Cornelius White was a wide receiver here way back in the day. They went to high school together. So Corny was on the call, and you got this big long beard, and Coach and him went back and forth a little bit. That was kind of fun, but he's going to try to come up for the spring game. They're really pumping the spring game. They want all those guys back for that. They want them on the sideline for the spring game, and so I think that'll be an awesome thing if they can pull that off and get a full house there for spring game. And if the weather's good, like it's going to be this weekend, it looks like, that'd be fantastic.
So you mentioned pads are coming on. People are asking on the text line. I mean, how much hitting are they going to allow? I mean, how much does it go into it? Because you want to get, it's that whole mixed bag, right? The spring. You don't want to get guys hurt, but you have to find out if they can be football players for you.
Yeah, they're going to do some live tackling tomorrow. They're not going to jump in and do a full scrimmage or anything tomorrow, but they are going to have some live tackling periods and whatnot. And you kind of do that middle drill, one-on-one with the wide receivers and quarterbacks and defensive backs, and middle drill and 7-on-7 type stuff, skeleton pass. They'll do some of that. The quarterbacks will be off limits. I'm pretty sure of that. They've been in orange, since they started. And I don't see that changing. You got to protect those guys. You only got like 5 or 6. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And they're all young pretty much. So, yeah, it's going to be limited for sure. And they'll get more and more as the weekends go on. I think the plan is to kind of scrimmage just about every Saturday up till the spring game. They'll take Easter Saturday off and practice on that Friday and give them the weekend off. But, yeah, other than that, they'll rev them up a little bit every day.
Yeah, and I know you really look forward to those, don't you? Because that kind of tells you the end of the week's work, and those guys can get in there and scrimmage. You start to see more get revealed.
Yeah, I mean, they go, and the good thing is, they go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, so they can take Tuesday's practice and look at the film, see what they're doing right, wrong, give them pointers and all that sort of stuff. And then go back at it, the next day, Thursday, and try to get a little better. And then Saturday, go a little more live, get them revved up a little bit more, a little more live contact, and kind of see what you got and see what kind of the cream run that comes to the top.
Brent Pry got a lot of media-friendly posts yesterday. People watching him back in his element. He looked a lot more comfortable coaching. Defense. You could just see it.
He loves what he's doing, and he didn't want to be a walk-around coordinator. He wanted to coach a position, so he's got that, and he can keep an eye on things better. And that's one of the things when you're a head coach, man, you get pulled in so many directions that it's really difficult. And for a first-time head coach in this day and age, man, you talk about being extra difficult. That was. And so, I think he's happy to be back. Loves Blacksburg, loves Virginia Tech. You cut him open, he'd be bleeding maroon and orange. And I think he's really excited about what he's got there. And he's going to get those guys revved up. Got some of his old guys on his coaching staff that they were together with at Vanderbilt and Penn State. And so, I think the outlook's good there.
Well, first and foremost, keep him healthy this weekend. Let's just keep everybody healthy.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's no more evident than you see in basketball. I mean, look at the guys that are out and some of the major players out and some of these great teams, and you just never know. And that collapse by Carolina last night, man, you just scratch your head. That team, how many times has that happened that you look at that team and you think all the talent they have and what is the deal with them? They're taking bad shots or missing free throws or turning the ball over at the end of the game. It blew a 19-point lead. I mean, nothing against VCU. We saw them in the Bahamas. They're good. Right. They're good. But, I mean, you don't do that. I mean, come on. That's I scratch my head sometime worrying about the old Tar Heels.
No, I'm with you. And, you can't put that on Caleb Wilson because you just said it. They built the 19-point lead without him. That collapse had nothing to do with not having Caleb Wilson. That was that came from somewhere else.
Yeah. And that's the thing about the tournament. You get a couple of guys hurt here or there or some of these other teams. And, I was surprised Louisville was able to win without Michael Brown. You worry about that a little bit.
I was too.
And obviously the Duke, they were behind at the half against Siena. And I had to really pour it on in the second half. But, when you got one great player like a Cam Boozer or go way back as far as Carmelo Anthony, if you got one horse, man, you can ride him to the championship.
Well, that's right.
So you just never know.
You're right. And his brother played well last night, too. So the Boozers came through. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays. But it was a fun day. Like you mentioned, it was a throwback to why we loved the tournament yesterday with how those teams did. High Point. out of our league. I mean, it's just a great story.
Yeah, that's a great job by them. Man, just shooting up threes. I mean, you think about how the game has changed because of Steph Curry.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like High Point goes in there and rails out, 15 threes? I mean, that can change your game. It's like Mike Young always said, 2s hurt you, but 3s kill you.
That's right. They do every time.
And it's such a good time of year, Rick. I can remember in high school, grade school, grade school, when the ACC tournament came on, man, that was big time. And those teachers, they'd bring TVs in. Mike Young said the same thing. They'd bring the TV in and watch those games when they started at noon on that Thursday, March Madness. It was crazy. And boy, that's just such a fun time of year.
It is. It's great. It's about all we have left. And they're going to mess that up. They're going to increase the teams next year, so we're going to mess that up too. But,
that's not a good. I don't think that's a good thing.
No, it's not. Well, we want to thank Louise Baker, the Louise Baker team, Long and Foster. We love Louise. I don't know if she's going to be. Did she travel for the women? I haven't heard from her. I don't know if she went.
No, I don't know if she did or not. That's a good question. I'll be watching them today at 1:30. I think they play. So
8-9 game, baby. Woo.
Yeah,
Woo.
yeah. That's a tough matchup, especially whoever wins it. Gonna have a really tougher one.
It is. Very tough one. Very tough one. Well, Mike, thanks for jumping on, man. We didn't want to go a week without you, brother. And enjoy the games today and enjoy the scrimmage tomorrow. The light hitting tomorrow, I guess, before we get into scrimmage.
Yeah, it'll be fun, and gonna be some great basketball too all weekend. So that'll be fun to get them down to those 16 teams. That'll be great. Yeah, tomorrow I'm looking forward to tomorrow going out and watching them. So that'd be good.
All right, brother. Have some fun, man. Stay safe.
All right. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Louise, and we'll talk at you next week.
All right, man. Take care of yourself.
All right, Rick.
Mike Burnop joining us on the program. Thanks to Louise Baker, the Louise Baker team, Long and Foster. I have not talked to Louise recently, so need to do that. Man, what a show today, huh? Phul Elmassian, Stacy Compton, Mike Ashley, Mike Burnop, and now, oh yeah. I would have a saxophone playing, but I'd get banned from YouTube. It's Jen the Gamecock Girl joining us on the program. What's up, Jen? How are you?
Hey, good morning. It's a beautiful, beautiful day in South Carolina. It's Friday. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, the women down there give you some hope, huh? Your men not in the tournament, but your women, hey, they're going to go to the Final Four. Come on. Right?
I sure hope so. I don't know. We're a little thin compared to past years. I don't know. I don't have the confidence I've had before.
All right, so you weren't with us last week, and you got called in. What you weren't very happy because you let me know you didn't want to be driving for work, but you got called on a trip or something, right? Last week, was that how that worked?
I did. I had to go to Greenville for a recruitment type event that I just found out about. So, and actually, I'm going to Greenville again today, but for a different reason. I'm going for a gig, which is why I have my concert black on. I'm playing with a big band tonight in Greenville, South Carolina. But I'm not leaving until 3, so I've got a little time.
Are you playing at East Carolina? Is that what you're doing?
No, Greenville, South Carolina.
Are you? That's true. Yeah, I'm thinking North Carolina. You're right. Yeah, never mind. Well, so wait a minute. You're playing, so your saxophone is fixed.
It is. It's working. I'm not settled yet in a solution. I'm trying some different solutions. I haven't found the perfect thing yet.
Well, now though, now next week has to be the week, because if you're going to play a gig, and I saw all the mouthpieces you've been posting, that means you got options. So now we got to just move on forward with this next Friday.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how my gig goes tonight.
No, it'll go great. How many people are playing in the band? Is this like you and 4 other people or something? Is this you and your local? What is it? The Sax Coalition or whatever it is? What is it?
Okay, good. I'm happy you remember that. You're not in the doghouse yet. Tonight is a big band, so it's like Harry Connick Jr., Michael Bublé, like the kind of band they play with. It's about 17 pieces, 5 saxes, 4 or 5 trombones, 4 or 5 trombones.
Wow.
Rhythm section.
Well, that's cool.
It is cool. That gig, it'll be fun because it's with other music people. It's at a music conference. So the people in the audience will be feeling it and into it, which is a lot more fun when you're just background music. It's not as much fun as a music person.
Lots of Manhattans to get you warmed up and ready to go.
no Manhattans because I have to be back at work tomorrow, and I have to be back here at probably 8 a.m. tomorrow, 24 hours from now.
Wow, what are you doing on Saturday? What are you working on Saturday? You don't work on a Saturday down there. Come on.
We have admitted students day, so everyone's coming in to scope out South Carolina and decide if they want to come here. And the weather's supposed to be 80 something and sunny, so check. We'll get a lot of good recruits.
So what do you do on those weekends? You just sit around just looking pretty? Is that what you do? You just sit around?
You're so sweet. I wish my job was that, and I appreciate the confidence, but I actually do, along with some colleagues, we do presentations for people who are considering music and who maybe are majoring in something else, might want to do some music stuff. We do presentations throughout the day, some tours, things like that.
Okay. Well, I guess that's kind of working. But you love it. You love that, though. You love showing off your school.
I do.
Right?
Yeah, I do. Most of this job, I'm happy. I'm excited to have a real job in music. I love South Carolina. You probably saw my post. Frank Beamer was here this week, right next door, and I could just leave after work, and I went right next door and heard Frank Beamer speak. And there are a lot of cool things about what I do. Now, the things that are the hardest and that I don't love as much, it's hard to tell people when they're not admitted to the university. That's not fun.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's the hard
fun
part.
to tell people they're not getting scholarship money. It's hard to deliver news that is disappointing.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Sure. Oh, here we go now. The peeps it's starting to come now. Here we go. So the mouthpiece works for only select audiences, T-Bird says. He understands.
T-Bird, I'm not playing solo tonight. I'm playing in a group. So it's a good place to test mouthpieces that will give me the confidence when I select one to do some solo type work.
Thunder says we could use some big band music in BDST. Yeah, absolutely. We wouldn't get banned if it's live. We're good. Or not banned, but get dinged is what they do. They ding you if you play music.
Back in the NRV, I actually, along with a friend, we started a big band and we played all around Roanoke, Blacksburg, Christiansburg. It was really successful.
Was that the era I met you?
No, that was another group I was in. That was called Big Dog and the Fat Cats.
That's right.
The group.
So when you heard Big Dog Sports Talk, you were like, right?
The group that we started, it was Dean Chiappetto. He still lives around there, so people probably know of him. But he and I started a group. It was called Blue Ridge Swing Review, and it was a big band, and it was really good and really fun. And it's just hard to line up that many people to play, and it's also hard to convince people to pay enough for 17 musicians in that area, for all of us to and to do it. So most of the time we just got enough for gas money.
That
really.
makes sense.
Everybody enjoyed playing in it.
I bet you were a big like Big Bad Voodoo Daddy or Brian Setzer when he had his org. I bet you loved that stuff, didn't you?
Yes, it was patterned after a lot of that. Yes. Yep. And that was a heyday time for us. We got a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
The group I was with when I saw you, we were wearing, there was another one too called Riverboat Ramblers that I saw you another time.
Yeah.
And, it was like a New Orleans theme thing, but it was the same people as Big Dog and the Fat Cats. We just wore different outfits and played different music. And I saw you in that. I don't know if you remember. It was like red and white striped vests. It was not the cutest outfit.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah, kind of, sort of. I remember that. But you had dog spelled right. You had D-O-G. You had dog spelled normally.
Right.
So we had to introduce you how to spell it the right way. So
that's what the Georgia fans say.
Yeah, exactly. How'd your bracket do? And by the way, thanks for joining. How'd you do the first day?
I don't know. I have not had time to check it because I've had so many work obligations.
Well, I think we should do that right now. I think we should look at it right now. Let's go.
I would imagine it's in the toilet. I did pick some upsets, but I think I picked all the wrong ones. I don't know that I picked. Did I pick North Carolina to lose? I did at least one bracket, but I don't think it was in our bracket in this venue.
Oh, you're doing multiple. You're a multiple bracket girl.
I
So
am.
why do all the women on this show want to do multiple brackets? Can't you just make a decision? This is what's wrong with the male and female relationship right now.
You just weren't giving me enough, so I had to seek a little bit more.
Let's just have more bracket opportunity. Got to change my mind. This one, I'm not sure about this one.
Did you pull it up? I can't. Well, maybe I can.
I can't look at it. I don't think.
All right, hold on. Let me put it on my other screen. Sorry, I've got another screen. I'm not looking away from you, but I am.
No, you're fine. I'm going to look and see while you're doing that. By the way, we had 87 people in our group. That's awesome.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you,
great. My bracket name was I Miss Football Already or something.
I can see everybody's champion. I'm not sure if I can see.
Oh, gosh. I think I'm 49th place.
You're in 49th place?
I told you it's terrible. Oh, gosh. Whoa. Terrible. Awful.
Oh, there you are.
Awful.
There you are.
Wretched.
Yeah, I can't. I guess I could see your pick. I see that. So you didn't have a great first day is what you're telling me.
No, I picked all the wrong upsets. I had, let's see. Initially, I had picked Texas, but then I changed it back. That's wrong. Is this the bracket I got? North Carolina? I did pick North Carolina as in one of mine. Looking for it. Yeah, my bracket's garbage. Garbage after day one.
You were too obligated to the SEC, weren't you? I had Georgia losing, and of course, that was my lock, by the way, of the day. And there you go.
Well, I think I need to pick some upsets. I just fired at the wrong targets.
No, I understand.
It happens.
My lock yesterday is going to be the same. I was anti-SEC yesterday. My lock today is going to be an SEC team too, losing.
Well, I get it. I mean, I didn't have much confidence in Georgia because we actually beat Georgia, I think, one time, but we did beat Georgia. So when I saw they were in, I was like, oh, yeah. If we could beat them, then it's probably not faring well for their tournament odds at that point.
Morris wanted me to tell you, by the way, we had Coach Elmo on, and he went to the Lou Holtz ceremony. Saw a lot of former coaches and players. Kind of had a little special group there, and he was able to go back to South Bend and celebrate the life of Coach Holtz. Thought about you because I know that's something we haven't really had a chance to talk about it because you weren't on last week. But Coach Holtz is one of the all-timers in the sport, and I know what he did at your place. I mean, he got there, it was a disaster. Right. And he immediately brought integrity and seriousness back to football, didn't he, for South Carolina? I mean, he was that vital. And that's what's continued forward because of him, I think, to be honest with you.
Yes. No way would we have had Spurrier. No way would that have unfolded that way without Lou Holtz. I love him so much. I actually considered trying to go. If I didn't have so much work, I would have gone. It was moving to me to see so many Gamecock former players went in a group and travel that distance to be there. That was meaningful. And I saw that another group of them went to the football facilities here and watched a live stream of it together. Yeah, I'm still really sad about it. I just feel like he just seemed like one of those people who would be here forever.
Yeah.
I mean, he just always seemed like an old guy, you know, like even when he was here, he was older, small.
Yeah. But he was so feisty, you thought he was just going to conquer death somehow. Yeah.
Somehow, like, it just doesn't seem right that he had to leave us. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with it. I have a lot of signed items from him that I'm appreciating. He signed several of his books. I guess maybe 2 different books for me.
Oh, that's cool.
And I have a signed Outback Bowl ticket from we beat Ohio State back-to-back. In back-to-back years, and he signed both my tickets for me. And he was always very gracious in doing things like that. And he'd always tell us we could send anything we wanted to the football building, and he would sign it. I mean, who would do that now? Nobody.
No, not without cost. Yeah. Right? Not without immense charging. Okay, it's $300. Come on, let me have
it. He had a lot of those motivational talks that probably if you've if you've heard them 10 times, you would roll your eyes a little bit. Like, I'm sure his kids are like, oh, no more. But to the rest of us, it's just so charming and endearing. One of the speeches is about, he always talked about the dash. And that was his comment about, like, you have a year that you're born, dash, year that you're dying. And you got to think about the dash. What are you doing in your dash? And I think about that a lot. So a lot of his lessons stick with me personally, and they were so much bigger than football.
And he was so good on TV because he just didn't care. He was going to say, I'm going to be Lou Holtz. If you don't like it, tough. But he used a lot of that. He used that format to kind of get across how he felt about life too, which I thought was good. But he was natural on TV. I loved him.
I loved him fighting with Mark May.
Yeah.
The little squabbles with the two of them. That was always fun. And the whole judge thing.
Yeah.
I think ESPN had that campy era, and they did some stuff like that. I miss some of that.
Yeah, they used to be good. Not anymore.
I'm kind of tired of the Stephen A. screaming and the Pat with his shirt off. And I mean, I look at it, mind you, but
I don't.
It's a little tiresome. So, like, I miss the whole Lou Mark May dynamic. Who was the judge? I'm trying to remember. I see his face.
Yeah, I can too.
But they would do those like hot takes, and
then I can. Somebody in chat will know. Somebody in the chat will know. But yeah, it went to hell as soon as Disney bought it. ESPN died. I mean, that's just a fact. That's just a fact. And to think about all the images of Lou Holtz, I just remember him at Notre Dame. In that Notre Dame, sweater, he was always pissed off, walking up and down the sideline, like talking to a coach. You could see him. That gig meant more to him. I mean, obviously he loved South Carolina everywhere he was, Minnesota. He loved everywhere he was, but Notre Dame was his holy grail, and that's why it was always Notre Dame for him. And when he was the coach there, he won their last national championship, for God's sakes, right? Seeing him on the sideline, I just always have that memory of him on the sideline at Notre Dame. That's how I remember him anyway. So
seeing him here, he always had that old school varsity look, like the collegiate varsity look with the V-necks with the ending around them and the classic college look. And I kind of miss that. It made me nostalgic for that day. And he always clung to that, the khakis, flat front khakis, and one of those on the sideline, good cap. But he was good too about the academic side, and that's something else that's just so different now, even in that relatively short time. I mean, he would always have academic people as guest coaches and bring us out and really treat us well and thanked us. Like, would always sincerely thank each person for our role at the university. Again, nobody's going to do that ever again. So it was really special. And he made all of us feel important. Like we were all on the same team together with football and as an institution. Because he came here, our admissions numbers, our applicant numbers really increased, and that drove a lot of growth in the whole university. I'm sure somewhere like Colorado, they're still appreciating huge growth from Dion being there. And so all of us benefit from it, but he was very aware of the important relationship, and that was not one-sided. And it's not going to be like that ever again. No.
Well, we won't put Dion in the same coaching category as Lou Holtz, but yes, your point's well taken.
Just in terms of applicants, Correct. Like now Colorado's sort of a hip school for people to apply to. I mean, I would argue, it's always been a good choice, but I'm sure their numbers have escalated because of the short rise and now decline of the football program. It's still much more visible and relevant because he was there.
Do you think they'll do a statue for him posthumously down there? That'd be great. If somebody's walking around Williams-Brice and there's a statue of Coach Holtz in that South Carolina sweater, like you said, that'd be cool. In his hat.
It would be cool. I don't know. We have that huge Gamecock statue, and it's right across the street from my window. But the reason I bring it up is because it's amazing the number of visitors that constant visiting photographs with the Instagram era of the world. So imagine if we did have one, it would be a big point of interest for people who come to Columbia. And I think that'd be great. I love your idea. I don't know, probably some rich donor will suggest it and it'll happen, right? I mean,
I'm an idea man, Jen. You know this.
I like your idea. I think it's great. I'm still emotional about Lou Holtz. I did watch some of the funeral and it made me tear up. I mean, he's just always going to be special to me, and it was an important time for all of us as Gamecocks.
Well, he helped usher you into the big boy SEC football era. Without him, I mean, you're Vanderbilt. I know Vanderbilt's gotten good their last few years, but you're Vanderbilt for all those years. But because of him, you weren't. So
true. And the back-to-back Outback Bowls to me was really a signal, like, okay, things are different here. Yeah. Beating a program of that magnitude twice like that, it was really exciting and fun, exhilarating, good times.
The picture you posted with him, you could tell too how genuinely happy he was. Like, he wasn't just taking a picture with you. He had a big old goofy smile on his face, and I mean that with the most respect possible. Right? That was cool. Yeah. That was cool.
I love that picture, and in digging it out for this occasion, I was thinking I need to print that out and put it in my shrine. I don't know why it wasn't in the shrines. Maybe that's why things went off the train tracks this year.
No, your things are off the train tracks because you have a terrible head coach. But the shrine, yes, it's got to be in the shrine.
Respectful, terrible. I need to have him in the shrine. So that's my next move.
Yes. Yes, you do. Yes, come on. That should have been done last month. That should have been done years ago.
I don't know why I didn't do it. I guess the shrine really started with Spurrier because I had the crush going.
I know.
Spurrier, and I never had a crush on Lou Holtz. It was more grandfatherly, but the Spurrier somehow more crushy to me.
Well, he did that liner for you too. He did the voiceover for you too. You have to play that sometime. That's great.
It is great. I'm so deep in it, and the older and more into it, like it just more and more stuff, more memories, more collections of stuff. So the students here are always amazed at all of it. They're like, wait, what year is that from? I think I was born then.
Yeah. Hey, Prometheus has a great idea. They should do a patch or something on the helmet. Right?
They probably will do something. I can't imagine them not.
Really? You really think Shane's going to think of that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll send it to him in a note. I need to send him a note because I saw him. We didn't get to chat really. I saw him across the room at that Beamer. There was a reception before the Beamer talk, and he was there, of course, with his staff. So I was going to send him a little note. So maybe I'll mention it in the note.
Dad, can you save my job now? Dad, help me again.
Why are you such a hater? You got to believe. Got to have a little faith. Things could be turned around at any moment.
It will be. Once you get the next regime in, I think you got a great shot. Look, he set himself up. He knows. It's a playoff or bust. That's what he said.
I know.
That's what he said. Remember? That's what he said.
I want to be his PR manager. If anyone out there knows him, suggest that. I'm happy to help. I don't think you should put it that way.
So I don't know if he thought about this, but what he's done, if he doesn't make it, and I don't think there's any chance they're going to make it, but he's given them now the administration, and AD already kind of has a strange relationship with, it's going to go, you laid the ground rules. Guess what? You didn't make it. See ya. We've had another year to get the money in there to buy you out. I mean, I'm just saying he set himself up for.
Yes. I mean, for better or for worse, and it's been for worse lately, his impulsive side, which comes out.
Yes. Yeah. Good word.
Is, in my opinion, our downfall as a team, because the team plays in a similar way. You know, they do impulsive things that are sometimes not successful currently. And there needs to be more stability and consistency in our play, but they do reflect the coach.
Yeah, that's a great point. Personality of the coach comes through. Lord knows you have all the resources you need to be successful in that league. So that's never going to be an excuse. So comes down to one person. 5 offensive coordinators. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It is. And to me, the worst part of that is that he will continue to defend all of them. And I just don't think that's a ditch he wants to die in. Like, why are you doing that? You know, I think it would come off much better if he had some humility and just owned it and said, okay, that wasn't a successful situation. No. We're moving on.
He won't do that.
The stats speak for themselves. And when we were near the bottom of the entire division and everything, you know, I mean, it's just really, or I'm sorry, the conference. It's just very difficult to defend that and to continue to, but he does do that. And it goes back to the loyalty thing, which I thought was interesting when Frank Beamer was talking this week, when he was asked about some characteristics of his time at Virginia Tech. He did talk about the loyalty aspect, and that was one thing he was known for. And it just was making me think, you know, Shane has inherited that, and he gets very loyal to his staff. And I just feel
But does he? I mean, he's fired them all. Frank never did that. He
was forced to do that, in my opinion. I don't know that. This is opinion only, but I mean, Satterfield left for Nebraska. He was one of the worst ones, and Matt Rule was his buddy. And when Matt Rule got that head coaching job, he recruited him, and so he left because of that. Dow Loggins, who I think was the best of the crew so far, he got that head coaching job at App State. So a lot of them have left, but no one's been fired until Mike Shula was, and that was I do think that AD may have forced his hand on it, but I don't know that. It's not fact.
Well, was it the O-line coach though that got released before the end of the season too?
Yes, like 3 or 4 games. I think that AD forced that as well. I don't think that he would have done that without pressure.
Well, which tells you too, if the AD is getting involved with that kind of stuff, that tells you that probably things aren't as healthy as they need to be.
If he did take the initiative to do it, I would see that as a good change for him. And again, I don't know. I hope that's why he did it, is because he realized it was time. But I don't feel like that's characteristic of his behavior in general. So if he did do it, that's a good change, and him embracing that things are not the same, and loyalty to staff is not always warranted.
So what's the vibe around start of spring down there? Is it more like, I mean, like here in Blacksburg, everybody's just excited and, you know, can't wait to see how it unfolds. But down there, is it more like you're excited, but is the expectation like, well, it's just going to be the same old thing? What's kind of the vibe you've gotten early on heading into spring practice?
There's probably, I mean, I guess like a quarter of the people have the surrender to what you just said. They're like, well, here we go, more of this. Yeah. Now, I will say it hasn't helped us at all as Gamecock fans that men's basketball has been so bad, and baseball has been a travesty.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Baseball has been such a source of pride with our 2 national championships, and to have it turn into this has really, really upset people. So I think that has taken a front seat currently. I think Maneri, the baseball coach, I can't see him lasting the season. It's been really terrible. So I think that's been a distraction. So I think people are kind of caught up in that right this second. And
I get it.
I think there will be some movement on that. They did make the announcement, as you wrote me, about our basketball coach. Lamont Paris is staying for next year, at least. So that has also kind of contributed to the feeling of resignation with some of the more negative fans are like, well, here we go. And then the baseball thing, like I said. So I think there is maybe like the 75% of the football fans are kind of cautiously optimistic about what could happen with football. But I will always be optimistic. That's what I mean.
I know.
So
that's one of the many wonderful traits about you, dear. I get that.
Well, plus too, one thing that is really exciting. I mean, they are ripping up our stadium, and it's going to be a total improvement there, which is overdue, and it's going to be really nice. You wait, I'm trying to remember. Did you go in this? Have you been in our stadium? No.
Yes, I have. Yeah. I have.
Okay. I mean, it needed attention.
It did. It's still nice, but yeah, I get what you're saying. So, modernized kind of.
Yeah. And then they'll be able to do more things like concerts and all, which are going to be great for my property value. So I like that part.
Sure.
But I think that's going to draw a lot of excitement too. And people like who aren't big football people and people who don't necessarily follow all the portal pickups and everything, like the average kind of super average fan is going to just be excited to see something new and something new.
The AD, somebody's saying time for a new AD. Isn't the AD relatively new? Is that right?
It is, yeah. That the angry fans are angry about the former AD, really, Ray Tanner, who hired Maneri, the current baseball coach, and hired Lamont Paris, the current basketball coach, and just they feel like he hired some not so great people. Current AD, I think people appreciate him and like him so far. He comes more from the business background and was very involved in the legal side of NIL because he's an attorney, and he's sort of the new wave of ADs. But Ray Tanner was a coach, and he got promoted, a very successful coach, mind you, the most successful coach here at that time before Don Staley was here. He did hire Don, so that was a good one, but a lot of his other hires have been somewhat controversial.
So I'm guessing the same thing with Shane, the same thing with Paris, like the buyout. They have to make sure they have funds in. Like you didn't want to. It's probably a financial only decision. There can't be anybody down there who thinks Lamont Paris is going to pull out that basketball program.
Yeah, I do think it's financial because his buyout, I want to say, was $12 million if it occurred now, and then but if it occurs later, obviously it's decreasing. So it really, and again, the renegotiation of Lamont Paris that created that big buyout was also Ray Tanner, the previous AD. So current AD is having to make tough financial decisions.
What is Shane's buyout? Roughly.
I don't know. I have not looked it up.
So they have to consider all these things, because if you have two buyouts in the same calendar year, all of a sudden that's quite a bit of dough you got to come up with.
Now,
I'll never understand the buyouts. I'll never understand.
We bought out Muschamp. I want to say that was $14 million. I could be wrong.
No, I think that's right, because you mentioned 14. Yeah.
It's in that range if I'm not on the money there. So, I would imagine that that's probably some kind of installment plan, and we're probably still paying some of that. So,
yeah.
That's still happening.
We'll see. And plus, ADs don't work on their own. In other words, if they have to get approval, they can't just go through, and they have to have campus presidential administrative approval too. People are asking we can't just go through and just fight. You can go say, this is what I think should end. And a lot of schools will just go, okay, well, you're the AD, that's fine. But you can't just go through and say, oh, by the way, I'm firing 6 coaches, and now we owe this amount of money in buyouts. So that's something that they work with together. Do you think your administration is hand in hand with your athletic department, or is it kind of like a snobbish relationship? What do you think?
I like that. I think with any school, much like Virginia Tech, much like here, any school that's big into sports, that our board of trustees, they're very tied into the outcome of athletics. Of course, they approve all the big contracts and review all of them with athletics. So I would not say it's snobbish. I imagine that they wanted to hire the current AD just because he's so skilled in the financial arrangements of modern athletics and at a collegiate level. So I think they were probably very excited to hire him and to get someone with more expertise in that area. I think they knew that they needed help there.
Well, Tech is all politics. That's why the AD is still there, despite the fact he was fired from being a football AD. Just bizarre. But anyway.
Yeah, that's the nature of it. Like everywhere it is political, and some areas, of course, are going to be more involved with athletics than others. But I think at all the SEC schools, well, like that situation with at LSU where the governor got involved with the Lane Kiffin thing. I mean, that it's crazy, it's ridiculous. But
it is
what we're all kind of facing now, because it's just such a big ticket, important thing to all of us, and to like even the economic development of the entire state. It's got a huge impact.
Well, it's never political in our relationship. It's always just joy, which is why it's lasted and endured for so long. I hope you have a good weekend. Have fun. Be safe traveling. I don't like you traveling all the time. Be careful. Are you careful?
Are
you careful? Just be careful.
I am careful. I'm not driving this particular trip, so
no. Okay.
I'm just get to sit there and look over my music and get ready for the gig, because I think we're doing 20 different charts.
Oh wow, that'll be fun. Well, you'll have a blast. Well, good for you. I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, it'll be good. And I'm just trying to play a little more. That's one of my personal goals, and that includes you.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we could. Wait a minute, am I a personal goal, or are you playing for us?
Do you want to be?
Ooh.
You want to come hear me practice sax for 2 hours? Because I'm sure that's a good test of how much you would want to be in a relationship with me. If you heard that for 2 hours, you'd probably be ready to just roll out.
No, I'd be jamming, man. I'd be jamming. I'd have my beer. I'd be fine. I'd be just fine.
Practice isn't as sexy as you think. Like if you're doing a bunch of like a passage over and over again, the same thing for like 5 minutes, like
well, I mean, I wouldn't be practicing. I'd just be drinking. That sounds great.
Well, you sound like you're ready for life with a musician then. If you can handle that, then you're good to go.
Be safe and have a great time tonight. I hope you have some pics and some video. That'd be great. We'll talk, and we'll see maybe next week we could get this thing done with you and your performance.
I don't know. I'm worried about the sound. I told this to you. I don't really like that. I don't.
The peeps will not care. The peeps will just appreciate hearing it. They'll be fine.
That sound is a. Ugh.
I know, free musician. I know. I get it.
You don't like that. So, I don't know. It just unless I have more control over the sound, I don't know if I'm going to be happy with it.
Okay.
But before we go Cox, because the women are playing this weekend here in Columbia.
Right. Tech women today too. Tech women at 1:30. Radford women tonight hosting the WNIT. So that's a big deal for us. So that's good.
All right. Go women then.
Go women. Go women. As always. All right. Be safe, dear. Have fun. I know you will.
All right. Love you.
All right. You too. Take care. There you go. Jen the Gamecock Girl. We love her. We do. All right. So Beamer's contract runs through 2030. His buyout's $27.5 million. Woo. Really? Yikes. All right, here we go. Stone cold lock of the day. We got it nailed last night late. Told you we won by 25. Today we're going to get it off early. Santa Clara, the number 10, beating Kentucky, the stone cold BDST lock of day 2. Thank you. What a great end of the week. My goodness gracious. Thanks to Coach Elmassian. Thanks to Stacy Compton, Mike Ashley, Mike Burnop, and Jen. Free valued entertainment for you. Please subscribe, like, and share everything we do here. It's important. It gets paid attention to. Enjoy day 2. Let's hope day 2 happens as great as day 1 was. Come see us tonight at Dedmon for the WNIT. Good luck to Megan Duffy and the Tech women. Everybody take care. Have a great weekend. And we'll be talking about the Sweet 16 on Monday amongst whatever else shows up. Take care, everybody. Take care. Be good. The Peaches lock of the day. That's right. The Peach of the day. We may have to work on that, Wayne. I like that. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.